start to file in, and as Brighton bid for a first home Premier League win in 6 months, they do so with Robert Sanchez making his home debut in goal with Fulham in midweek. Tariq Lamptey picked up a knock at Craven Cottage, so isn't fit enough to start. Stephen Alzati and Danny Welbeck dropped to the bench. Joel Veltman, Aaron Connolly and Neil Morpie all come in. Sanchez is the Brighton goalkeeper. White, Dunk and Webster the back three. Veltman, Bissouma, Lallana and March in midfield. Connolly and Trossard either side of Morpay up front. On the bench for Brighton, Jason Steele is the substitute goalkeeper. Alzati, Welbeck, Gross, Jahanbash, Byrne, Alexis McAllister, who's back from injury, Andy Zakiri, a Swiss striker yet to make his debut for the club, and young Jason Malumbi. Well, where do you start with Sheffield United? They've made the worst start of any side to a top-flight season in history after 13 games. No win since July the 11th. Already 9 points from safety. The weekend before Christmas a year ago, Ollie McBurney's winner here put them 5th in the Premier League table. How things have changed. There are 2 alterations to the team beaten by Manchester United on Thursday. Ryan Brewster makes his first start since November the 7th in place of Oliver Burke, while John Lundstrom makes his 100th appearance for Sheffield United. Sander Berger drops out injured. Ollie McBurney, by the way, is still not fit enough for a place in the squad. Aaron Ramsdale will be the Sheffield United goalkeeper. Basham, Egan and Robinson are back three. Baldock, Lundstrom, Ampadu, Fleck and Stevens across the middle. Brewster alongside McGoldrick up front. And those Sheffield United subs, Verips, the Dutch goalkeeper, Sharp, Mousse, Jagielka, Norwood, Osborne, Lowe and Jayden Bogle.
Joe, thank you very much indeed. Just to set the scene for you here as well, the manager's out, Chris Wilder, with the referee and his assistants to go through all the bits and pieces that they need to. The turnstiles have been open here for the last half an hour, and they're taking their time to come in, the Brighton fans, but there'll be 2,000 of them here, way on the far side from where we're sitting and commentating from, and a few of them behind the goal as well. They will make a noise, there's no doubt about that. It's just great to see fans back, although for many, after what happened yesterday, there's a shutout that could see all sorts of problems still to come over the coming months. Alvin Martin, it's good to see you. You're looking well.
Thank you, Mark. So are you?
Yeah, not too bad actually.
For too old.
We've locked down reasonably well, but we haven't had to move quite so far, have we? Look, have you ever been on a run like this in your footballing career that Sheffield United are on at the moment? Just can't find that win?
Well, most players, managers have experienced bad runs. I'm not sure I've ever been on one as bad as this, Mark. It's dreadful, isn't it? You know, in terms of 1 point approaching Christmas, I don't ever remember that. So I mean, I think you said it early on. It's the worst Premier League record so far. It's something that they've got to do something about. It's all about results, and performances are important. Don't get me wrong. And I thought they did all right against Manchester United. Yes. Some positives would have come from for Chris on that, but it is solely now about the points. He'd rather play badly today and win the game, that is for sure. But the biggest problem you've got is confidence. Never ever underestimate the level of confidence that is so important to winning games. Last year they would have been going into games fully confident, and if they'd have gone a goal down, it wouldn't have impacted on them. Now it's a completely different mindset, and it takes one hell of a manager, Mark, to be able to reverse that.
I think as well, you know, just two things. Firstly, the fans. Sheffield United and one or two other clubs, I think, have really missed out. They've needed them, particularly at home, in a way that others have managed because of the different types of quality of players that they've got higher up the league. It hasn't mattered quite so much.
Absolutely. I think that, look, the fans are important to every Premier League team. Every team in the country relies on their crowds. I think in the Premier League more so, because you're talking about packed stadiums. You're talking about an atmosphere that inspires players, that demands a certain level of commitment from a player. You know, that's part and parcel. I think one thing that has come from this pandemic, I think from everybody within the game, and everyone used to say it, how important the fans were. The game is as much about the fans as it is about the players. I think what this pandemic has really hit home is the fans are just as important as the players.
Yes.
because they create a product that has been able to be sold around the world as the best in the world, which is the Premier League.
I completely agree. That's a great point that you make at this stage. We're going to come back after 11:30 and talk more about Sheffield United. Let's talk about Brighton. I watched them live at Fulham on Wednesday night, and Graham Potter had sort of made this big decision that he's done a couple of times. Well, he'd done it once before with Matt Ryan and with Sanchez coming in. Sanchez did absolutely nothing wrong the other day, and I'm not surprised at all that he's in here. For 20 minutes, Alvin, at the start of the second half, they were in charge, Brighton, of the game at Fulham, but yet again just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net.
And that's something he has to find a solution to. I think since Potter's come in here, he's completely changed the style of play, the mentality of the players. And I think he is somebody that I think is destined to. I hate saying this about a team because it's a great club, Brighton, but he has got, I think, the potential of being a top 4, top 6 manager. He is somebody that knows he needs to improve certain aspects. And as I always say, that the hardest thing to put into a team like Brighton is creativity, is a finish. You can get people into goal-scoring positions. Have you got the individuals in the team to stick the ball in the back of the net? And that's something he's got to find a solution to. I do know that he's trying to take Dan James on loan from Manchester United. He worked with him at Swansea, didn't he? So he's somebody that knows he has to improve that part of his team. But one thing is for sure, if you play up front now for Brighton, your service is going to be good.
Well, let's hear from a player who will be a little disappointed, I'm sure, that he's on the bench today. Ollie Norwood, he's reaching nearly his 30th birthday now, and he is, of course, a man who knows both of these two sides. He played 33 times for Brighton in 3 seasons before being on loan and then moving to Sheffield United, and it's been going really well for him ever since. And he's been speaking earlier this week about this one and Sheffield United and what it means for him to be back in the Premier League.
Here comes Norwood to level it up from the spot, right-footed, hammers it in the bottom corner, and Oliver Norwood has a Premier League goal for Sheffield United.
What is life like under Chris Wilder then?
Very good. Obviously, people from the outside have got an opinion on what's going off at the minute at the football club, and we understand that. We're there to be shot at, we're there to be criticised, and we've had enough praise when things have gone well, and it's a difficult period for us. We're not going to hide away, we're not going to go and hide under a rock anywhere. We're going to front it up. We've got to pull ourselves out of it. It's pretty simple. We've put ourselves in this position through hard work, and we've all been on a similar journey where we've had setbacks and knockbacks, and probably people thinking that we're getting shown up and shown that we shouldn't be in the Premier League, but we don't see that as the case. And if ever there's a time to stick together and work hard, then now's that time. And there's no greater satisfaction than proving people wrong. And as I said, there's a lot of noise from the outside, and you've got to have thick skin and broad shoulders in football, and that can quickly change. Opinions can quickly change, and we've just got to work even harder than we ever have done to try and change it around.
Baldock down the right side with a reverse ball to Berger. A little touch by the goalkeeper and a backheel past Mendy, and Chelsea have conceded.
And I suppose the good news is that the other teams around you, they've only won 1 or 2 games, so actually that gap between yourselves and the others isn't insurmountable. It's
not, no, and I think we keep looking and saying we just need that one win, and just to kick-start us and get that. Everybody talks about confidence, belief, whatever it is in football. We just need that one win to kick-start us, and we don't do what we did last season if we're a team that goes under and bottles it and throws the towel in. I don't think we'd ever do that as a group, and we've just got to work. Words are cheap. Actions speak louder, and we can sit and talk all day about we need to do this, we need to do that. If somebody had the answer, we'd take it, but obviously there's no answer other than hard work, and we've just got to be more committed than ever to get out of it.
And finally, it is Brighton then this weekend, your former club. You'll want to be involved in this game. What are you expecting from it?
They're a good side. They've changed the style since I was there. They've got obviously a different manager now from when I was there, and a real possession-based team. Want to play good football, but we played them twice last year, 2 very good games. We won away and drew at home, but I think the away performance last year was satisfying. It was kind of in and out job. Got the goal, sit back and frustrate them, and took the 3 points. And I'm sure if we were handed that opportunity this year, we'd take it again. So it's going to be every game in this division's tough. There's no easy games, and we just need to kickstart our season sooner rather than later and give ourselves an opportunity of getting out of the mess that we're in.
Well, Ollie Norwood there at Sheffield United, and right on cue, Sheffield United make their way across the right line for their warm-up, a midday kick-off here today with Joe Shannon and Alvin Martin. We'll talk more about Brighton. We're also going to look ahead to some other crackers in the Premier League this afternoon. The Mooses at Spurs against Leicester City. It's Manchester United Leeds. What a game that one is, without a crowd though. Desperate. West Brom against Villa as well in the Midlands. And we'll talk more of those games next on TalkSport 2.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2.
Soft blanket, check. Reindeer slippers, check. Knitted hot water bottle, check. Elf onesie, check.
Be ready for tears, tantrums and telly with your free copy of The Sun on Sunday's 48-page TV soap mag. Get behind-the-scenes gossip, exclusive interviews, and 14 days of complete Christmas and New Year TV listings. Pick up your copy today, only with The Sun on Sunday.
Why wait until Christmas Day when you can enjoy Costa's mouth-watering Pigs Under Blankets panini lunch every day? Made with succulent British pork sausages, delicious maple-cured smoked bacon and a stone-baked sourdough panini, all at an irresistible price of only £5 with a selected drink. Savour something special at Costa this Christmas. Available 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. from 3rd November to 30th December 2020 at participating stores. See costa.co.uk for terms and conditions.
Hi there, Mrs. Claus here. If I were you, I'd check out the brilliant Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus 5G, which you can claim up to £120 cashback on. Plus, get a £30 cashback boost when you buy a second product from the offer range, because honestly, he's about as organised as a drawer of odd socks.
Coming, dear.
Make their year with Galaxy. Get the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus 5G with Google Apps from participating retailers or Samsung.com now. Purchased by the 25th of December 2020. Claim from Samsung within 30 days of purchase. Only one cashback boost of £30 may be claimed. T's and C's apply. Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
It's Lidl's Pick of the Week. This week we're big on British Christmas vegetables. With carrots, parsnips, Brussels sprouts, red cabbage and mini roasting potatoes for just 15p. From Thursday the 17th of December. Lidl, big on a Christmas you can believe in. Subject to availability, selected stores, excludes NI.
Today's $1.99 wrap of the day is the sweet chilli chicken one. Guaranteed to cause flavour envy. Picture a soft tortilla wrap filled with...
crispy chicken. Bet that mayo makes it tastier. Sweet chilli sauce too. I'm sold.
Today's $1.99 sweet chilli chicken one. So big on flavour, everyone will want some. Only at McDonald's. From 11 a.m.
This Christmas, unwrap the Premier League's best games live on Now TV.
That's absolutely amazing!
Today, Tottenham go head-to-head with Leicester before Man United take on Leeds in the next chapter of a long-standing rivalry. And you can watch it live for a one-off price of just $9.99.
Yeah, that's pretty unstoppable.
With a Now TV Sky Sports Pass, you only pay for the games that matter to you.
Memories are made of this.
Search Now TV Sports. 18 plus, content streamed via internet, full terms apply.
TalkSport Traffic and Travel with Swinton Insurance Breakdown Cover. Add it to your car insurance policy and you won't need to worry about keeping moving this winter. Visit swinton.co.uk.
In Manchester city centre, Great Ancoats Street is still closed on the eastbound side between Redhill Street and Store Street for resurfacing work today. On the M1 northbound in Northamptonshire, Lane 1 is still closed between junction 16 for Daventry and 18 for Rugby because of a broken down vehicle. In West Sussex, Lane 1 is also closed on the M23 northbound between junction 10A for Crawley South and junction 10 for Crawley because of an accident involving a vehicle that left the road. And on the M20 coastbound in Kent, there are still delays for lorries approaching junction 11A for the Channel Tunnel. I'm Michael Page.
2020. It's certainly not been an easy year, but as it draws to a close, let's try to make this Christmas the best it can be. You can start by shutting cyber criminals out. Before you head online to do your gift shopping, visit cyberaware.gov.uk for some practical steps to help protect you from cybercrime. From creating stronger passwords to updating your devices. And enjoy a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Get secure online at cyberaware.gov.uk.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2.
Edge of the seat action this afternoon. Spurs, Leicester, Man United, Leeds, West Brom, Villa. Let's take a good look.
Kane's cross into the penalty area, flicked on by Kane, and Harry Kane has done it.
I'm not looking to the table. I'm looking for match after match after match.
Ball deflected up in the air, knocked down for Harvey Barnes. Barnes scores, and Leicester have hope.
Shaw with a cross, Bruno Fernandes with a header, and it's 1-1. Lovely headed goal by Bruno Fernandes.
I know how much it means for our supporters. I know how much it means for our club.
Bamford's got an opportunity at the other end, and Patrick Bamford scores for Leeds United.
Furlong gets to the byline, tries to pull it back, it's blocked, works it back to Gallagher. 1-1. He's done it again. 2-2 for Conor Gallagher.
I've never been so refreshed, and never been so ready and eager to come back.
Grealish on the run, lifts the ball over to Tyrone Mings with a header, and they've got one back, and it's Tyrone Mings for Aston Villa.
Well, Villa with work to do at West Brom, and actually I'm going to start there with you, Alvin Martin. Sam Allardyce.
Yeah, Sam, well, look, everyone understands why you go to Sam because of his record.
Do you go this early, though, to Sam?
Well, time will tell. Look, they're not cut adrift. It's a strange one coming on the back. Obviously, the decision had been made before the Manchester City game.
Yeah.
And the players come in with a performance there and still obviously very much with Slaven Bilic. So he's obviously got something to build on. And I think it's certainly doable, isn't it? When you look at where West Brom are, what they've got, and certainly Sam Allardyce's reputation and record, you wouldn't back against him staying up now. The main thing is, I think, what you get with Sam, you get clean sheets. He'll go in. I don't think your goal scoring output will improve that much, Mark. They scored only 5 Premier League goals.
They've got to score goals,
10
though.
Premier League games. They have to score goals, but they've only got to score 1 to win a game. As long as you keep them clean sheets. And I think that's where, obviously, he will focus. He will get them certainly organised. Set pieces for, set pieces against. They'll spend hours and hours and hours, whether it be on the training pitch or in the video analysis room. And that will certainly improve, and it will improve quicker, certainly than the goal flow will.
Tough against Villa, though. They can be anything.
Well, Villa are playing so well at the moment. You know, they're not getting the results. I mean, some of the games that they've played, they've deserved to win by 2 or 3 goals. But it hasn't happened for them. But when players are playing well, they know. When teams are playing well, they know. And what you get this confidence that starts to build. And they've obviously got match winners. Grealish is the obvious one. But they're a good team, a really good team. And I think Dean Smith, out of all the teams of last year, has improved his team more than any other Premier League manager.
Polite applause from the Brighton fans that are in the ground.
Was that for me?
I think it was. I mean, spot on, Alvin. Spot on.
Thank you.
Spurs against Leicester City. Are we in danger here with Leicester City so good on the break, and Spurs under Jose Mourinho not really looking anything more than defensive, and then to have this extraordinary attack also counter-attacking on the break that nobody will leave their own half today?
I don't think it will be like that. I think Brendan Rodgers is certainly more adventurous, I think, than Mourinho. But something's got to give, hasn't it? They've won 5 of 6 away, Leicester.
Yeah.
That's and the only game they did lose was at Anfield. So, from that point of view, they come anywhere now and they think, oh, we're going to give you a game. Vardy's got 10 in 11 Premier League. What is he now? What is he, 34? 34 in January, I think he is, isn't he? It's incredible, really, how fit he's been and how fit he still is. But they've still got goals in their team. They've got Maddison, Tielemans, Barnes. So you always feel that there's going to be goals in Leicester's team. I don't think anything will change. I think he'll be more than happy to submit to a better possession for Leicester and look at playing a counter-attack game. But I don't think either team will fear the other.
No, they won't.
I think Harry Kane certainly will be licking his lips. He's got 16 in 14 games against Leicester. The only thing that I worry about with Spurs is the reliance on Son and Kane. They're obviously fabulous players, but 20 of the 25 goals they've got are down to Son and Harry Kane.
The only bit for me, though, and that they are great, that combination is magnificent, is that Jose's way, of course, is always to think from the back. And, they had good opportunities in the second half, created the chances, didn't they, midweek against Liverpool, but then Liverpool got that late goal. If they go 1 up against the side, even at home, he tries to defend that without conceding. And that's okay, as long as you then put away a second if you need to.
I think the be-all and end-all of dressing room mentality, of winning and losing, is results. And Mourinho now is in a phase, Mark, where he's getting results. And what happens then you get everybody in the dressing room looking at him in a completely different way. So a manager that's losing games, the players go back into the dressing room, they go into their little bubbles of 2 and 3 and 4 little cliques that you get in every club, and you all discuss what's happening, the decisions that the manager's making. And if you're losing games, the players start to doubt the leadership. When you're winning, it's incredible how gullible we all are. We all start to believe in whatever he says. And that's something that Mourinho's had for the majority of his career, and I think he's got that now, Spurs. It's a valuable thing to have as a manager.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, isn't it? I was at the Liverpool game at Palace yesterday, and Liverpool go 1 up. Palace then have, and no word here of a lie, 5 unbelievable opportunities if they could have just made the final ball. They had one-on-ones, they had everything. They could have had the game won before Liverpool then started again, who were magnificent going forward. But it just shows, though, that everyone this morning in the newspapers and everything, Liverpool this, Liverpool that, 6 points clear. Oh no, there's still a lot of work to do. And this final game this afternoon, it's one that was made for crowds. It's just such a shame, isn't it, with Leeds back at Manchester United. Ollie at the wheel and Bielsa on the bucket. You couldn't make it up.
Well, look, this is a fabulous game, even without a crowd. It's going to be entertaining because of the way Bielsa sets his team up. I think he's been a breath of fresh air, him and his style. And the home form of Man United, 1 win in 6. Ollie, if you take out the Champions League dreadful performances,
yes,
their home, their league form has been pretty darn good.
They sneaked up there somehow. They are there.
And a win here now really takes them into the thick of everything.
Absolutely.
At the top. It shows you the sort of pressure that Ollie was under, even last week. I was discussing it with Joe early on. He made a big decision, didn't he, to play Henderson. It was the wrong decision, really, because Henderson had a dreadful game.
Shocker.
But they won the game.
Yep.
And it shows you the way we all perceive. You've just mentioned Palace there and Liverpool. And I played in games where we got beat 5, and I come home and somebody said, 5-0. I went, do you know what? It could have gone either way. And they look at you as if you're mad. and that's the same with Ollie. He made a massive decision, and maybe his luck has changed a little bit, really, Ollie, because he made the wrong decision but got the result, and everyone forgets.
I don't know what you think, but if somebody goes on a 5-match winning run in the top half of the division, they're not going to be far away of winning this thing this season, because it's so much closer and tighter.
Well, I think the dominance of Manchester City and Liverpool isn't anywhere near what it was, and I think that has been good for the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I think you're right that we're going to be watching the Premier League through the same eyes, with everybody having a chance of maybe winning it or getting relegated in the last 5 games, which makes it so exciting.
And a word about Leeds United is that Bielsa, yes, he's done this, he's done that, they've done okay, but he'll want an awful lot more of that. Everybody at the moment are sort of giving all talking about Leeds as the most exciting team in the league. Well, they've still got an awful lot of work to do.
Yeah, you have. But look, I think what he has done, if they have a setback, he doesn't dwell on it. Neither do the players. They had 2 big defeats, didn't they? And then they had that great performance against Newcastle. So I think he protects his players. I think he accepts that there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be defeats with the way they play, because you just mentioned how tight it is. The margins for error in the Premier League are very fine, and you could do everything right in some games and still lose a game. So I think he accepts that. He accepts the competitiveness of the league, and when you do get a setback, I bet you they all come in on a Monday, they accept what's happened, they identify why it's happened, and they think, right, okay, we're not going to change anything, we all know what we've got to do, and we're going to continue on the same path.
Well, we've got an intriguing game for you here. It's a midday kickoff down on the south coast. The blue sky's out at the moment. There's been a lot of rain, but we're set fair for this one. It's Brighton against Sheffield United. Both going about their early business here, stretching and concentration. They both mean business. They know this is an opportunity, really, for both to pick up back to a victory at a vital time just before Christmas. Joe Shannon and Alvin Martin. That's our top team, our commentators, here with a midday kickoff live on TalkSport 2.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL.
KFC gravy dippers, drinkers and devotees. This is for you. The Gravy Burger Box Meal. A chicken fillet burger topped with a hash brown you can fill up with gravy. Comes with its own gravy boat, fries, mini fillet and a drink for only $6.99. Available this Christmas at KFC.
Ends 3rd of January at participating restaurants, subject to availability.
It's Lidl's Pick of the Week. This week we're big on British Christmas vegetables. With carrots, parsnips, Brussels sprouts, red cabbage and mini roasting potatoes for just 15p. From Thursday the 17th of December. Lidl, big on a Christmas you can believe in. Subject to availability, selected stores, excludes NI.
At Screwfix, we've got even more savings with our 7-day festive deals. So fill your toolbox with everything you need to get the job done. But hurry, deals must end 20th of December. Plus, if you're stuck for gift ideas, you can even grab yourself a Screwfix gift card. Get the festive season sorted at screwfix.com. Screwfix, here when you need us. Gift cards can only be redeemed in 700 stores nationwide. Visit screwfix.com for T's and C's, delivery charges and restrictions.
Tesco Mobile brings you the powerful iPhone SE this Christmas. And now AirPods are included too. The perfect combination, all for just $19.99 a month. That's our lowest ever price. Search Tesco Mobile. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Ends 29th of December, subject to availability while stocks last. 36-month credit and rolling monthly usage agreements with Tesco Mobile required. Subject to status, terms apply. See tescomobile.com/terms.
Calling all small business owners. The clock is ticking and we're not going into extra time. On the 1st of January 2021, the Brexit transition period will have ended. If you own or operate a small business, this means following new business rules on exports, imports and more. And if you move goods into, out of or through Northern Ireland, you should check what you need to do to prepare. Be ready for business. Use the Brexit Checker tool to find out what your business needs to do. Go to gov.uk/transition.
Around 400 M&S stores will be open until midnight, giving you more time to buy our award-winning food for Christmas. This is not just Christmas food. This is even more time to get a hold of it. M&S Christmas food. See marksandSpencer.com for store opening hours.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2.
It's Brighton. It's Sheffield United. It's such a vital game for both. Here's the team news with Joe Shannon.
And there are 3 changes to the Brighton side that picked up that goalless draw with Fulham in midweek. Tariq Lamptey picked up a knock in the game, so isn't fit enough to play. Alzati and Welbeck have both dropped to the bench. Veltman, Connolly and Mopé are the 3 to come in. So Sanchez makes his home debut for Brighton in goal. White, Duncan, Webster are back 3. Veltman, Bissouma, Lallana and March in midfield. Connolly and Trossard either side with Maupay up front. On the bench for Brighton, Steele is the substitute goalkeeper. Matt Ryan has been left out of the squad once again today. Alzati, Welbeck, Gross, Jahanbash, Byrne, McAllister, Zakiri and Malumbi make up the rest of the Brighton substitutes. For Sheffield United, remember, having been beaten in 12 of their 13 Premier League games so far this season without a win since July the 11th. There are 2 changes to the side beaten at home by Manchester United on Thursday. Worth noting, Chris Wilder did say he was reasonably happy with that performance. Ryan Brewster makes his first start since November the 7th. John Lundstrom makes his 100th appearance for Sheffield United. Berger drops out through injury. Ollie McBurney still not fit. Burke is the other Sheffield United player to drop to the substitutes bench. Ramsdale is their goalkeeper. Basham, Egan and Robinson the back 3. Baldock, Lundstrom, Ampadu, Fleck and Stevens in midfield. Brewster and McGoldrick up front, and those Sheffield United subs: Verips the goalkeeper, Sharp, Mousse, Jagielka, Norwood, Osborne, Lowe and Jayden Bogle.
Thank you, Joe. Well, last season Sheffield United were a stainless steel side. This season it's blunted blades.
My name is Johnny Gascoigne. I run the Showroom View YouTube channel. I've been a Sheffield United fan since birth, didn't really have a choice in the matter, and it's not something I'd willingly change ever.
It's heartbreak again for Chris Wilder and his Sheffield United side.
It's not a record anybody wants to have, is it? I mean, the worst ever start in English top flight season ever. Not something to be proud of at all. But barring the odd few games, you look at what's actually going on the pitch and you don't understand how we're only on 1 point sometimes.
And Chelsea lead by 4 goals to 1, and Sheffield United, who do not get thrashed,
are being battered.
As a fan, it's very demoralising. It saps you of enthusiasm, it saps you of everything bar the passion. Because despite how bad it is, if the grounds were open, we'd still be packed to the rafters.
Us, more than any team in the league, misses the fans. That's no excuse. We understand the position we're in, position the country's in, and we can't wait to get them back.
We look dead, we look gone, we look like we're out of the running and we should just accept it. But that's not the Sheffield United way. We're not just going to accept it and lie down.
Aaron Ramsdale will be embarrassed when he sees the goal back, because it goes right underneath his body.
Every Sheffield United fan is behind Chris Wilder. People in the past saying, well, he's only got 1 point in so many games, surely he should be in danger. With this group of players and the way Luke's going, I think even Pep would struggle. It's a bad record. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We need to be better. But the man to lead us through this is Chris Wilder.
I think we all understand that, 17th will be a remarkable finish for us in the position that we're in. There's been bigger gaps that have been closed, and we've got to believe that we can pick up points and close the gap.
Well, I don't really know what to say in some ways, Alvin Martin, about this. I mean, you talk to the boys here who do all the stats for them, as I've had a good chat with them a little bit earlier on, and they same again. We haven't at times played badly. If we play like we did against Manchester United, they said to me this morning, we've got a chance. If we play like we did against Southampton, we've got no chance. It's that inconsistency, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think that's what they had last year, consistency. And I think when you think about it, there were a lot of tight games last year that they won. Just edge them out, and and that gives you then the breathing space for the players to really get together, to gaining confidence, and the buoyancy that brings. It's a nice place to be. They've got the opposite of that this year, and they've got to get clean sheets. They haven't had a clean sheet yet. The only way out of this now, you don't wave a magic wand and get people to start playing with confidence and scoring goals and creating lots of chances. You gradually get yourself out of a situation. You ebb away at it, and the only way you do it is by sticking together. I think Ollie Norwood's the interview that we had earlier on was spot on. Everything he said was absolutely right. There's a lot of cliches in there, but the football cliches, I think you can explain everything that happens here, and they have got to stick together. They've got to work hard. There's possibly sometimes a team comes into the new season after a successful season as they did last year, and you expect it to be a bit easier, Mark. Subconsciously you're doing all the same things. The manager, I'm sure, coming into the season said this is going to be harder next year. To try and get to them levels, it'll be harder than it was. But as a player, you think, but we are a Premier League team now. And as soon as you take your foot off the pedal even slightly, and you don't get a good start, you start to go on a losing run. And we all know how unforgiving the Premier League is. Every team in the Premier League can beat you. And unfortunately, that's where they are now. So I hope he's able to ride this out. One thing is for sure, Chris Wilder, if he didn't see the season out as a manager, and he said he will only go if it's the right thing for the club, he will get another job. I think he's a very good manager.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the players who have got to get him out of this predicament.
He's out there at the moment, isn't he? He's involved with the guys right now, I think, isn't he?
Well, is
that him there in the centre circle, just on the edge of it?
One thing, I think it is. Let's see if he miscontrols the ball.
He won't.
But I think
here we are.
Yeah.
No, look at that, 2-touch.
Do you know what?
Thank you very much.
He's probably. I've been where Chris is as a manager when you're on a bad run. Okay,
yes.
And the worst thing for me, approaching a game after doing your team talk, sending the players out to do the warm up, is sitting in the dressing room on your own when you're on, and you're pondering what can go wrong. And what he's doing now is, I think, he's not doing a lot, but he's at least out there and he's not thinking. He's just saying, okay, I've done all my preparation. We've gone through all of our set pieces, our defending, our attacking, and now I just want to forget about that and let the players get on with it. So he's probably in a much better place than he would be sitting in the dressing room thinking about what could happen, because that's not a good place to be.
No, I like it. You don't care how you get your first win, though, now, do you? You don't care if it's a scrambled goal, it's a goal that everyone else is up in arms about. Anything that has the opposition kicking off and 1-0 goes up is what you want.
And I tell you what, there's another side to this. As bad a run as they're on, 1 point in coming up to Christmas is terrible from Sheffield United's point of view.
Yes.
Not won a game. But there's also a thing about Brighton. If they were to lose this game today, they'll be thinking, we could be the only team that they've beaten coming up to Christmas. So there's a bit of pressure on them as well. And I think Potter, has changed the mentality. I said that early on, but I think now they are a team that he has somehow got to get to where they're not fighting relegation, Mark. They're coming into the last 10 games of the season 10 points above the drop zone. I think they finished well last year. I think it was their best finish. I think the year before that they were 3 or 4 points above the drop. Again, the year before that, their first year in, they were close. So he has to somehow get this team into a position where they're not coming into the season thinking survival. They're coming into the season thinking, can we go on to the next level, which is maybe top 8, top 9?
Yes. Just looking at the bottom of the table to remind people, Sheffield United at the bottom with just a point, West Brom above them 6 ahead. They've both played a game more than Burnley, who are on 10. Fulham, who've played a game more, are on 10, and then Brighton themselves, who played the same number of games as Sheffield United, on 11. It's that sort of season at the top and the bottom. They're not that far behind with a little run again, though, Alvin, either. They don't have to think doom and gloom right now.
Well, look, this is a game that I think that Chris wouldn't say it, but he will be thinking, we need to win this. We have to win this game because it's a team that's struggling to score goals. It's a team low on confidence. You have to put them to the sword. You have to. And he will feel if he can get the opening goal in this, what would that do to Sheffield United's mentality? That's I think where he'll be coming from. They've got, I'm talking about Brighton now, they've got West Ham away, who are playing really well at the moment. Then they've got Arsenal at home, who are there, but still a tough game. Wolves, Manchester City and Leeds. So today, if they win today, I think Brighton, they go into them games, into that run of fixtures, full of confidence.
They do. You mentioned Arsenal. I just would like your word about Arsenal at the moment. A bit of a horror story going on there at the moment. Mikel Arteta's had a year in charge. They're in a relegation battle now.
Yeah, and I think the Everton game was I think tells you where they are. They're making mistakes still defensively. They don't look like a team that when they turn over the ball, they're solid. You can look at the Everton game and think, the last 10 minutes they had chances. They could have actually drawn that game. Yeah. But also, when I look at as an ex-players, fine, but they always look second best during the game. And although they had chances to win the game, I think that there's an element of understanding about that. Is Everton were protected on 1-goal lead. They start to get a little bit nervous. Inevitably, you sit back a little bit, and the initiative then goes to Arsenal. But there's a lot of things wrong at Arsenal.
This is going to be this year for everything to do with sport, but particularly with football and Premier League football, and this particular Premier League season after what we've had with Liverpool for a moment thinking they weren't even going to be made champions. There is an extraordinary story, and the tales keep coming, and there'll be one more down here at the Amex, and it's coming up at midday live on TalkSport 2.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app, and on your smart speaker. Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass. Only pay for the games that matter to you from just $9.99. Search Now TV. 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of trade quality building products. In December, we've got Brissac Oak V-Groove 12mm laminate flooring for just £7.49 per square metre ex VAT. Now that's a real deal. Find even more real deals at selcobw.com.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
VAT charged at 20%.
Finding your perfect new home can be tough. So if you keep missing out,
it's time to search at On The Market.
There are thousands of new properties to buy or rent every month at onthemarket.com. 24 hours or more before they're on Rightmove or Zoopla.
On The Market.
See them first. Set up a property alert today.
Search onthemarket.com to find your perfect home.
If you're in the market, search onthemarket.com. See onthemarket.com/new and exclusive. Agents specify exclusivity.
As all the big games kick off across the nation, head to thesun.co.uk/football for all the fallout following another massive weekend of football in the Premier League and beyond.
That is a fantastic goal!
The hottest news, essential views, live blogs, and the biggest opinions in the game from the biggest names in the game.
They've done it!
And with a reporter at every game across the country, thesun.co.uk/football has all the football news you need. The Sun, we live it.
Ain't nothing changed here.
getting sushi delivered by a reindeer. Most wonderful time of the year. It's a just eat anything vibe over here. Warming up with a miso soup, me so bossy and me so snoop. Got my man Mr. Claus on the line. Let him know that it's just eat time. Happy holidays, it's a doggy dog Christmas. A lot of treats to complete on the wish list. Whatever the venue, hit up the menu.
Did somebody say, just eat?
This Christmas on Disney Plus, stream the biggest new releases, plus all your festive favourites. Experience Disney's epic live-action Mulan.
It is my duty to fight.
The smash hit Broadway musical Hamilton.
This is Hamilton.
And relive the #1 animated movie, Frozen 2.
I'll bring the snacks!
Make this Christmas wonderful with Disney Plus. All these and more now streaming. 18 plus subscription required. T's and C's apply.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Buy without part exchanging and you could get a bigger discount on your next car.
TalkSport Traffic and Travel with Swinton Business Insurance. We'll help you find the right cover for your business. From plumbers and electricians to landlord or taxi insurance. Visit swinton.co.uk.
In Lancashire, on the M55 westbound between the Bolton interchange at the M6 and Junction 1 for Fulwood, a vehicle's having a tyre changed, so lane 1 is closed. On the M6 southbound in Staffordshire between Junction 14 for Stafford North and 13 for Stafford South, a broken down vehicle is blocking lane 1. There are reports of an accident on the M5 northbound in Gloucestershire between Junction 12 for Hardwick and Junction 11A for Gloucester, and in the south of Birmingham at Spark Hill, the A41 Warwick Road is closed for a burst water main between the primary school and the petrol station. I'm Michael Page.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2.
Well, it's Brighton against Sheffield United. Let's get the latest odds ahead of today's action with 888 Sport.
Football form focus on TalkSport 2 with 888 Sport. Take them on at 888sport.com. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Sandra Di Michele is with us. Sandro, we got some magnificent games today.
Yeah, good morning, Sags. Yeah, another brilliant Sunday to get our teeth into. Exciting, isn't it? Look, this is a tough one to call. You've got two teams that are woefully out of form. Stating the obvious here, one win in 12 for Brighton. They have had 5 draws in those 12 games. Sheffield United, no wins in 17. But there is a little bit of positive news, I suppose, for Sheffield United, that 9 of those defeats have been by a single goal margin. So that gives them a little bit of hope. Brighton 10-11 to win the game. Interestingly, they haven't been popular this morning. They were 8-11 earlier in the day. They have drifted. The draw is 5-2. Sheffield United are now into 7-2. We shall see what happens. Both teams could really do with a win.
Yeah, really looking forward to this one here live on TalkSport 2. But look at the afternoon. Let's start in North London. Spurs against Leicester City.
Yeah, a cracker this, isn't it? Big chance for Spurs to put a bit more pressure on Liverpool and Man City. They're even money for the game today. The draw is 5-2. Leicester City 11-4 outsiders, but of course Leicester City right up in the mix as well. Currently 92 for a top 4 finish. So big things expected of Brendan Rodgers and that Leicester City team, and they do seem to be very confident and comfortable playing on the counter-attack, so that might suit them away at Spurs today.
Now, you're not old enough to remember the Manchester United Leeds great battles of the past, but if a game ever needed fans, it's this one. But again, both of these sides can be anything on their day.
Yeah, they could. Look, I live in Leeds, and the guys, the city's absolutely rocking. It's just a shame nobody could actually watch it. United big favourites for this, so 4-6 to win the game. The draw 7-2. Leeds United 7-2 as well. I don't remember those old battles, but I do remember that Leeds victory in the FA Cup 10 years ago. A 1-0 Leeds victory, and a repeat of that is 20-1.
And then finally today with the Midlands at it, West Bromwich Albion with Big Sam now in the technical area up against Aston Villa, who are playing so well right now.
Yeah, look, nothing should surprise us in football, should it? And I'm sure Slaven Bilic thought that after getting a point at Man City, he'd be in the dugout for this Sunday, but that isn't the case. West Brom, big outsiders for this one, 18-5 to win the game. The draw 3-1. Villa 8-11 favourites. I think as a bookmaker, that Villa price is one that we're happy to take on today, Sags.
Okay, that's great. Sandro, thank you very much indeed. With all the very latest, that's Sandro Di Michele, and that was the very latest odds with 888 Sport. Play responsibly. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Football Form Focus on TalkSport 2 with 888 Sport. Official betting partner of TalkSport 2. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Just one thing I was thinking there, watching the sides come in, Alvin, as a manager, you've not got to show, have you, any tension at this stage, any worries and what have you. You've just got to make them believe that you still really believe.
Mark, I think you have to be an actor a lot of the time as a manager, especially when you're on a run like Chris is on. Chris Wilder, at this moment in time, will certainly be putting a brave face on it. He'll be buoyant, he'll be lively, lots of energy. But when you go in and you've lost the game, Harry Redknapp writing about it this morning, it ruins your night, ruins your weekends. You feel low. But then on a Monday, you get in your car, you go to the training ground, and you're giving yourself a pep talk going in. Every manager will be the same. You've got to, as soon as you open that door, morning, everyone. You are bright as a button, and it's something you have to be able to do.
Alvin Martin and Joe Shannon, 2,000 Brighton fans in. It's Brighton against Sheffield United, and it's next on TalkSport 2.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app, and on your smart speaker. Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2. Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Hundreds of local branches, usually only 15 minutes away. Find yours now.
This Christmas on Disney Plus, stream the biggest new releases, plus all your festive favourites. Experience Disney's epic live-action Mulan.
It is my duty to fight.
The smash hit Broadway musical Hamilton.
This is Hamilton.
And relive the #1 animated movie, Frozen 2.
I'll bring the snacks!
Make this Christmas wonderful with Disney Plus. All these and more now streaming. 18 plus subscription required. T's and C's apply.
We got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of trade quality building products. In December, we've got rolls of Rockwall thermal loft insulation for only £27.95 each ex VAT. Now that's a real deal. Find even more real deals at selcobw.com. Selco, serving the trade for 125 years.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
VAT charged at 20%.
As all the big games kick off across the nation, head to thesun.co.uk/football for all the fallout following another massive weekend of football in the Premier League and beyond.
That is a fantastic goal!
The hottest news, essential views, live blogs, and the biggest opinions in the game from the biggest names in the game.
They've done it!
And with a reporter at every game across the country, thesun.co.uk/football has all the football news you need. The Sun. We live it.
Finding your perfect new home can be tough. So if you keep missing out,
It's time to search at On the Market.
there are thousands of new properties to buy or rent every month at onthemarket.com. 24 hours or more before they're on Rightmove or Zoopla.
On the Market.
See them first. Set up a property alert today.
Search onthemarket.com to find your perfect home.
If you're in the market, search onthemarket.com. See onthemarket.com/new and exclusive. Agents specify exclusivity.
Ain't nothing changed here. Getting sushi delivered by a reindeer. Most wonderful time of the year. It's a just eat anything vibe over here. Warming up with a miso soup. Miso bossy and miso snoop. Got my man Mr. Claus on the line. Let him know that it's just eat time. Happy holidays, it's a doggy dog Christmas. A lot of treats to complete on the wish list. Whatever the venue, hit up the menu.
If somebody say, just eat.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass. Only pay for the games that matter to you from just $9.99. Search Now TV. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Just the flu. You hear people say it every year. But if you're immunosuppressed, have a learning disability, or have a condition such as multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, motor neuron, or Parkinson's, there's no just about it. Flu is a virus that can cause serious complications. That's why we offer you the flu jab free. It's your very best protection. Ask your pharmacist or GP today. NHS. We're here to help you protect against flu. Help us. Help you.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2.
Slightly strange, nervy atmosphere here down at the Amex right now. They've just been playing out on the big boards. The the build-up to Brighton and the way that they've made it back to this level, and both sides are now down in the tunnel below us and will be making their way out. 2,000 fans standing now for the first time, not quite sure what to do. Where's everyone else? It doesn't matter. They just know one chance, one goal could be the difference now as the two sides make their way across the white line. So is it the Potter's Wheel? A fortune for Brighton, or can someone somehow find some Billy sharpness in front of goal for Sheffield United? Here's Alvin Martin and your match commentator, Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, everybody. A little overcast now here down on the south coast. The floodlights on, and those 2,000 Brighton fans rise to their feet in applause in the lower tier of the east stand on the far side with its semicircular roof, and then the north stand away to the left beneath a big electronic screen. And there are one or two blue and white flags and blue and white scarves that have been hurled up into the air as the home team take their place right in front of our commentary position on TalkSport 2. We're only 10 or so rows from the near side touchline, right to the left of the mouth of the tunnel and just to the left of the halfway line. It's a neat, compact ground, this. Lots of empty blue seats, but even 2,000 in, Alvin Martin, they'll make a hell of a noise, won't they?
I think it's a lovely ground. It's certainly a club I've always admired from afar. I think the stadium is perfect for the club, and I was just watching a little video of all the ups and downs of Brighton, and there have been some ups and downs here over the the last few years. But the history of the club and all of the emotion and the passion of the fans, at the end of the season, promotion, relegation, all of those things. And we only seen the good bits, I think, on the screen in the stadium. It shows you how much it means to people, to supporters. And the game is only a fraction of what it really is without them here.
There's a big blue and white banner behind the goal to the left that reads "Stand or Fall," and that could apply as much to Sheffield United as it does to Brighton and Hove Albion. Even 13 games into the season, the Blades have made the worst start of any side to a top-flight campaign in history. Just a single point picked up at home against Fulham on the 18th of October. They've lost their last 8 in the Premier League without a win in 17 in all competitions since July the 11th. Chris Wilder needs a win. Could this be Wilder's last stand if they're beaten again today? Brighton, meanwhile, not exactly secure of relegation danger at this point in the campaign themselves, just a point clear of Burnley in 18th. A win would take Brighton above Arsenal in the Premier League in 15th position, but they haven't won a match here at the Amex in the Premier League, Brighton, for 6 months. The sun shines on the far side onto those Brighton fans in the lower tier of the East Stand, all at a social distance, already making plenty of noise. Brighton have Sanchez in goal, White, Dunk and Webster the back three, Veltman, Bissouma, Lallana and March, with Connolly and Trossard either side of Maupay. Sheffield United, Ramsdale is the goalkeeper, Basham, Egan and Robinson the back three, Baldock, Lundstrom, Ampadu, Fleck and Stevens in midfield, Brewster and McGoldrick up front. The Brighton substitutes are sat almost directly in front of our commentary position here, all at a distance just to the left of the tunnel. Graham Potter has had a quick word with Chris Wilder as he emerged from the tunnel right in front of us, and the Sheffield United boss with his arms folded, looking to secure that 100th win as Sheffield United manager today, but he is on his longest ever winless run as a manager. As the Sheffield United players emerge from a huddle in the half to the right-hand side, Brighton will get us underway in the dark blue shirts, white shorts and dark blue socks. Sheffield United in a change kit of pink shirts, grey shorts with pink trim and pink socks. And the referee, Peter Banks, is just moments away from blowing his whistle and the game will begin. It's a vital game towards the bottom of the Premier League table after an already busy weekend of football in the top flights, and it's live and exclusive right here on TalkSport 2. There's so much football to look forward to throughout the afternoon. We'll keep you up to date with that, and then we're into the run-up to Christmas, and then Boxing Day, game day we can't wait for across the network either. The Brighton players hopping on their toes, and they will play from left to right in the first half towards the empty south end of the ground, which is covered by banners. Sheffield United will play from right to left, and the home fans applaud as both sets of players and coaching staff all take a knee in support of the fight against racial injustice, and so the game begins. And an early touch for Ben White on the near side of the field for Brighton, hoists it high downfield. Egan, the Sheffield United captain, with a towering head.
His point of view is about character. Character is going to be very important as much as the ability that they've got, and it's getting the balance right between playing and not coming here just to survive. Certainly when you look at the two teams, Sheffield United have been obviously on a dreadful run, but they'll certainly have the better confidence, Brighton, because although they haven't been winning lots of games, they haven't been losing a lot either, and I think they are a team that you will look at, certainly be in a better frame of mind psychologically.
We've had 90 seconds and it's Brighton 0, Sheffield United 0. Here is Connolly and Morpay up to the edge of the penalty area, through for Trossard, and that's a good block on the slide from John Egan, and you hear the roar of the Brighton supporters, 2,000 in today in this 30-odd thousand capacity stadium, as the seagulls, as the chant echoes around the ground, win a corner on the near side of the field.
Well, look, it hasn't been going very long, the game there, Joe, but you can already see that certainly Mopay and Connolly are going to play up there, and they're nice little flicks around the corner. They look like they've got a good understanding, but they're playing with a degree of confidence around the final stage. You've got to play with freedom. At the moment, that freedom isn't there with Sheffield United because of results.
Solly March will take the corner from the near side, number 20 on the back of his blue shirt. Plenty forward for Brighton, including the towering Webster, Lewis Dunk as well. It's floated high towards Dunk at the far post. He can't get the header in, shrugged aside by Egan, and Egan in that pink and grey change kit for Sheffield United will clear up to halfway line. Returned with interest by Joel Veltman downfield, headed away by Basham for Sheffield United, and now here's Trossard with the bright green boots on the near side. Flicks it down the right hand channel to Morpay. Can he pull it back from the dead ball line? Blocked off by Egan at the near post, and a lively start from the home team, backed by these enthusiastic supporters. It is goalless after 3 minutes on TalkSport 2.
Well, Joe, 3 minutes into the game, and John Egan has had 3 interventions inside his own penalty area, and every one of them has been spot on. It's been a very good start from him, and he is the leader in that back three. And certainly Chris Wilder will look at Egan and think if everyone can show that attitude for the 90 minutes here today, they ain't gonna do too badly.
A little flick by Brewster infield onto McGoldrick. He's 35 yards from goal for Sheffield United in a central position, and that's a good ball wide to the far side. And Baldock up towards the corner of the penalty area. Back to Lundstrom, and Sheffield United now with Basham on the far side of the field, one of those overlapping central defenders, that tactical setup for which they've become so well known. Can Baldock keep it in play on the dead ball line? He can't do so. It's gone out of play. Ironic cheers from the Brighton fans behind the goal, some of them on their feet to the left hand side just below a big television camera, and it's a goal kick to Brighton, and the score remains 0-0.
Baldock on the right hand side, he likes playing as a wing back, and he wants to get forward. He's somebody that's mobile, got a lot of energy. But when your team's struggling to keep possession, it's very difficult for the wing-backs to get forward, because you need to know that they're not going to turn the ball over before you get into advanced positions.
The floodlights are on here, and there are some rather ominous looming grey clouds up ahead. It was very rainy in the build-up to the game, and then we had some bright sunshine, ever-changing here down towards the south coast, just north of Brighton in Fulmer, here at the Amex Stadium, which has become such a happy home for Brighton over the years now. Cleared by Sanchez, all in bright orange, the Brighton goalkeeper, up towards halfway. Thumping header downfield by Robinson, the former Liverpool defender. And now White turns deep inside his own half, up to Dunk on the corner of the penalty area. Wide to the near side, and the former Ajax player, the Dutch international Veltman. And Veltman will win a throw for Brighton, midway inside his own half, right in front of us on this near side of the field.
One thing we will see today, Joe, I think from both sides, is total commitment. I think both managers have been able to instill that in their teams, and I don't think there's been anything wrong with the work rate of Chris Wilder's side. It's the quality in the final third, I think, and in their own penalty area that needs to improve.
5 minutes gone, and it's Brighton 0, Sheffield United 0. You're with TalkSport 2. Here is Basham for Sheffield United, robbed by the slide of Lallana in the middle of the Brighton half. And now Bissouma, who is very efficient in the tackle, likes to dictate play. Bright red boots on, motored towards the halfway line. Brighton have put the ball out because Neil Morpay went down, clutching his right leg, it looks like, and he's limping up to his feet here, Morpay, on the halfway line. And the Brighton striker will just have a quick word here with the referee. Started the season in super goal-scoring form, Neil Maupay, though he now hasn't scored in his last 7 Premier League appearances since early October, and there looks to be some concern here, Alvin.
Yeah, I think he's all right. The problem we have got with the Premier League sometimes, Joe, is that players do go down sometimes very easily. So I have to be honest, feign injury. So sometimes when somebody gets a genuine knock and stays down, you don't know whether if it's genuine or not.
Forward by Veltman for leading Brighton to their joint highest Premier League finish of 15th last season. And you were full of praise, Alvin, for him in the build-up, Graham Potter. You think he could go all the way up towards the sort of top 4 echelons of management in the Premier League?
Yeah, well, I really do feel that he's the real deal. I think he's somebody that makes bold decisions when he has to. He's strong with his team, but he knows that. I think he's honest in his assessment. Every game, whether they win, lose or draw, I think his assessment of the game is always honest. He's got respect for the players, and it's very difficult to create an attacking-based side when you're a team like Brighton in the Premier League. And I think he's made a really good job of that.
Still 0-0, Brighton against Sheffield United. We've had just under 8 minutes if you just joined us live and exclusive to National Radio on TalkSport 2. We'll be at the Carabao Cup quarter-finals on Tuesday and Wednesday of the coming week on TalkSport 2 and on TalkSport. We'll have all the games for you live as Sheffield United come forward with Ampadu, the Chelsea loanee, midway inside opposition territory, out to the far side of the field, and Lundstrom's got support from Ballock, who is making a run down the right-hand channel. Didn't elect to use him, goes back into a central position now, and Sheffield United have worked the ball to the near side, their left, and Stevens with the long sleeve shirt. He looks for Robinson, and Robinson tries to cross on the overlap, but he was blocked off by Dunk, the Brighton captain, and out of play it goes for a goal kick.
A bit wasteful that, on this left-hand side. Stevens, I don't think he'll thank him for it. Robinson played him in down the left-hand side when really Stevens was in a position he could have delivered. They had a lot of people forward, and the fact that Robinson is playing as a left-side centre-half was on the edge of the Brighton penalty area. It shows you it was a good position and a good state of possession.
Sheffield United have won it back high up the pitch. Lundstrom will cross, cleared away first time, right-footed by White, whose blue shirt hangs untucked, tattoos down his arms. Here is Dunk now for Brighton and Hove Albion, who, remember, haven't won a home game in the Premier League for 6 months, but Trossard has got some space, breaking between the lines inside the centre circle. Then he slows the game down, pops it through the middle up towards Connolly. Connolly at an angle here, Maupay in the middle, back it goes to Veltman. Veltman strokes it infield to Bissouma. Bissouma is 25 yards from goal. Tackle from McGoldrick, who just got a foot in. He was sandwiched in between 2 pink shirts there, Bissouma, but he has won a corner in front of that empty south end. 0-0.
He's a little bit fortunate, really. He dallied on the ball. You can't do that in the Premier League, and he got it nicked off him, but I think he did take a touch off a Sheffield United player, and he's gone out for a corner. But I was just watching there. They broke. Dunk played a ball into the midfield. He turned the Sheffield United team around, and all of a sudden Maupay's making a run on this right hand side. Trossard just couldn't find the angle to play him in. But they are looking particularly good when Sheffield United turned the ball over on the counter, Brighton.
The second corner of the game for Brighton. Those home supporters have already made themselves very much heard here. Trossard will take it, right-footed outswinger, up towards Dunk, and the looping header is over the top, and it's a Sheffield United goal kick.
Well, he's certainly going to be a threat from set pieces, Dunk. He's by far the biggest man on the field. Egan has been the one that's allocated the responsibility of marking him, and he just jumped underneath the ball there, but Dunk couldn't get the ball down. It was a decent header, but it was always too high for him to redirect it down on the target.
That's the voice of Alvin Martin alongside me, Joe Shannon, live on TalkSport 2. A busy weekend in the Premier League. Liverpool going 5 points clear after that thumping of Crystal Palace. Manchester City winners at Southampton. Everton 2, Arsenal 1. Brighton could leapfrog Arsenal with a win today on goal difference. Headed by Dunk, cushions it into the chest of his goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, who is potentially the new number 1 at Brighton now, as the rain falls from the Sussex skies. Those grey clouds overhead, and the rain streaking down from above us. You can see it illuminated by the floodlights. Brighton now with Maupay. He's got March making a good run down the left-hand side. Maupay has carried it a long way up to the midway point of the Sheffield United half. Eventually angles it wide to March. Not a good ball. Slightly overhit. March had to retrieve it. Back now to Lallana. Long sleeve shirt. And Lallana with the very tall Webster also in close attention. And Brighton content to keep possession midway inside Sheffield United territory. I just wonder, Alvin, whether Morpay could have been a little more incisive there.
Yeah, he played it slightly behind, didn't he, of March. I think he could have given it a little bit earlier, really. You know, it's about making the right decision quickly at the right moment, and they've been a fault on a couple of times. Looking at Sanchez, you can see why Graham Potter has gone for him. He looks very composed at the back, and you can tell the three centre-halves never mind playing the ball back to him. You know, they're confident that he can deal with anything.
And so too is Graham Potter, who described his potential as very, very high. Earlier this week, he reiterated that the door is not definitively closed on Matt Ryan, but the Australian not in the squad again today. His days at the Amex do look numbered. Here's Veltman, in behind down the right-hand channel, teases it back across, cut out by Egan at the near post as it was aimed towards Connolly, who is darting forward up towards the 6-yard area, but Sheffield United have it back, and Stevens will clump the ball clear, high downfield, over the head of Rhian Brewster, and straight through to Webster for Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton the better team so far, and certainly they've had the better of it in terms of possession, Alvin.
Yeah, I don't think Bruce has touched the ball to feet yet.
I was just going to say, I don't think he has.
It tells you that, you know, look, he's up against three good centre-halves, and I think that's a particular strength of Brighton. I think Dunk is in the middle of the two centre-halves, is a commanding presence there. I think certainly Webster's been a very good addition, hasn't he? He looks like he can play and defend.
Oh, well, Basham is almost caught there by Connolly on the edge of his own penalty area, just did enough to send it back to the green-clad goalkeeper Ramsdale. But Sheffield United pinned back there by the high press of Brighton and Hove Albion. Chris Wilder turns back from his position on the edge of the dugout and has a quick word with his assistant Alan Neal. But there's just something about Brighton Albion in the early stages. They look slightly sharper and more energetic. There's more gusto about them.
Yeah, I think that, they're having decent spells of possession, Sheffield United, but they're not really going anywhere with it. But I think Brighton have taken more risks around the final third. They don't mind playing a ball with a risk on it because they know if it gets there, it's going to open up Sheffield United, whereas Sheffield United are playing pretty cautious.
Sheffield United with just a single point so far this season. Here is Trossard, edge of the penalty area, through towards Morpay, blocked off by a pink shirt. It's come back to Veltman. Veltman's deep cross ballooned towards the far post, way overhit. March, though, will keep it in by the corner flag. The rain has stopped and the sun is peeking through the skies again here in Sussex. Brighton nil, Sheffield United nil. March goes down, up go the Brighton fans, an appeal towards the referee, and right on cue, the home team have a free kick right by the corner flag.
It's going to be a good battle, that. You know, Solly March playing on the left-hand side as a wing-back, and Baldock on the right for Sheffield United. Really, he shouldn't have given a foul away there. He's going nowhere, Solly March, and Baldock has given him, or gifted him, a free kick.
Brighton, whose last victory, they've only picked up 2 victories in the Premier League so far this season, was away at Aston Villa on November the 21st. March will take the free kick out on that far side of the field. Plenty forward in blue. Sheffield United with everybody back. In by March, the near post, up towards Dunk. Good header away by Egan at the heart of the Sheffield United defence. Dunk, towering presence, and was darting into the penalty area with a great deal of physicality, but Sheffield United get it away up to the halfway line. Forward by Bissouma, all too easily telegraphed towards Morpay. Good composure by Robinson, not just to chest the ball down in the first instance, but then to show quick, dexterous feet and find a teammate. And now Ramsdale, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, will balloon the ball long. He'll balloon it straight out of play, and it's a Brighton throw.
I thought we were going to see the first goal in the game there. Lewis Dunk rose above everybody, got a contact on the ball, but not a great contact. It was a great delivery in from Solly March with his left foot. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't get that at least on target there, Dunk.
Yeah, absolutely. It was encouragement for Graham Potter. Brighton, that one win in 15 Premier League home games in 2020. As Egan clears for Sheffield United. High downfield, up into the bright lunchtime skies. Brewster's brought it down with his back to goal. The much taller Webster just behind him. Webster well over 6 foot tall. Brewster thinks he's been fouled and he's stayed down here, but the referee says no free kick. The boos from the home supporters as Brewster belatedly gets to his feet.
Was a foul. Did great to bring it down, and Webster pushed him over. I can't believe the referee hasn't given him.
Rhian Brewster, the club record signing at Sheffield United, yet to score for his new club. Here is March for Brighton, out in the left wing position. He's got 2 in the middle, far side of the field, heads for the dead ball line. Looks like he was brought down by Baldock. That was a really clumsy foul from an experienced player who should probably know better. I think one or two of the Brighton fans want a yellow card. The referee, I don't think, is going to oblige. But regardless of that, Brighton have another free kick out in another dangerous position, 0-0.
Well, I mentioned that's going to be a good duel that between those two, and at the moment Solly March is on top of it. It was a foul, it wasn't a bookable offence, but certainly he's going to have to be careful, because Solly March's delivery, as we've seen there from the last one, with his left foot is usually of a very high quality.
You're listening to Talk Sport 2 and Game Day exclusive, 17 minutes played and still goalless at the Amex. And once again, Sheffield United bring everybody back for the free kick. Plenty forward, including White, who's lurking almost on the goal line, Webster and Dunk and Morpay, and a cluster of players in and around the penalty spot. In by March, high up towards Webster, headed away by Basham. It's come out to Bissouma, and Bissouma lets the ball run across his body and steers it straight back to the halfway line. Veltman, dark-haired the Dutchman, square to Bissouma again, and the play slows down, and Bissouma sends it all the way back to his goalkeeper.
I like Bissouma, I really do. I think he's combative, he's composed, he looks like a really good character, fantastic athlete. You know, he really is a standout player for Brighton.
And here is Sanchez, the goalkeeper, strokes it wide to the left-hand side on Webster. Webster's long ball forward, a good, powerful clearing header by Basham on the halfway line. Then it's scooped downfield by Webster, and Connolly with a cushion header, clever to find Veltman. Veltman back towards Connolly, just inside opposition territory. Looked like he was fouled by Robinson. Again, the referee says no. Graham Potter barking out instructions from the near side. The Brighton boss, his arms folded, and his side have conceded a throw to Sheffield United, just shy of the halfway line.
Peter Banks certainly looks like he's going to let the game flow.
Definitely that.
Well, I think he is somebody that he knows when players are trying to buy a foul. I think he got that one wrong with Brewster, by the way, early on. But that one there with Connolly, I think he got right. And I don't mind seeing that. And the players will know that if they are looking for a foul, he's not necessarily going to give it, and it will improve the game.
You're listening to Brighton 0, Sheffield United 0 on Talk Sport 2 with Now TV. Don't forget you can watch Brighton against Sheffield United right now with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass for just $9.99. Search Now TV. Sheffield United, who are certain to be bottom at Christmas, have a free kick on the near side of the field, 15 yards into opposition territory. Robinson will play it short, low along the ground to Fleck. Fleck too slow to react. Trossard has won it back. And now here they come, the home team, streaking forward all in blue. Trossard had run 30 yards. He's found March 5 yards from the corner of the penalty area. Infield, plays it back to Lallana, who shoots, and it takes a deflection, and it goes behind for Brighton's third corner of the afternoon.
Well, they certainly break quick, don't they, Brighton? And Solly March did ever so well there. Feigned to hit the shot, turned inside, but the ball he laid back to Lallana was just bobbling about a bit, which made it very difficult for Lallana to hit. He didn't catch it 100% right, and he took a deflection. They've got another corner here, so good sustained pressure here from Brighton.
20 gone. We had a moment of deathly silence there. The 2,000 home supporters all seated and all at a social distance. Lower tier of the east stand on the far side, and then the north stand away to the left-hand channel, which is where the most vocal home supporters would usually be housed. There's a big electronic screen behind the opposite end of the ground, in front of which this corner is going to be taken. Trossard is over the ball again for Brighton. Once more, all three central defenders are forward. Trossard raises one arm aloft, swings in the corner, right-footed, headed away, up to the edge of the penalty area. Lallana will sprint and scamper to retrieve it. Back he goes to the halfway line, and Veltman. Brighton having by far the better of it in terms of possession, but neither goalkeeper has had a save to make just yet, and I think that Chris Wilder will be encouraged by that. And Sheffield United need all the help and all the positivity they can get at the moment, Alvin. And you mentioned it before the game. It's almost a sort of performative job, isn't it, that he has to do now, because he will take these defeats as hard as anybody, but he's got to keep the confidence of his players up.
Well, I think 20 minutes into the game, I think as a manager you're looking and you think, okay, are we working hard? Are we honest? Are we together as a team? And he certainly would have seen all of those aspects in this first 20 minutes and be happy with that. I think the secret is being able to do that for 90 minutes, Joe, and then the big moments in the game. Can you defend in your own penalty area? They've proved that they've done that, and they've had to do it on numerous occasions already in this first 20 minutes. They haven't really shown any real quality in the final third, so that's something that you would expect, over a period of time to improve, but they need a clean sheet today. I think that would have been his biggest priority. Well,
it is still goalless. Sheffield United, who don't tend to get thrashed, That has only really happened a couple of times this season. A week ago, when they were beaten by Southampton live on TalkSport 2. A tough afternoon on the South Coast, and they conceded 4 at Chelsea. But that aside, of their last 8 straight defeats in the Premier League, the 6 have come by a single goal. They're not scoring enough, Sheffield United, but they are making mistakes at vital moments. Brighton have a throw, 0-0 the score, infield by Veltman towards Bissouma on the near side. Bissouma miscontrols, Brewster has won it back, and now McGoldrick carrying the ball forward on this lush green surface, pokes it down the left hand side with the outside of his boot. Dunk is across to steer it away from Brewster. Picture of composure there, Dunk, and Sanchez, the goalkeeper, will hammer it clear high towards halfway. And now the ball has dropped for Lallana, lip of the centre circle, finding Connolly on the angle, shoots, and it's straight at the goalkeeper, who goes down to make a simple save.
Yeah, more pace down on the halfway line. 2 players went up for it, and he come off worse. It's a head injury, so he looks like hopefully he'll be okay. But what a great break, and what a chance as well. I've got to say that when they've eventually worked the ball, Brighton, to the edge of the penalty area, the ball's played into Connolly on the right-hand side of the penalty area. He takes Egan on the outside, and Egan does well because he doesn't let him cut inside. If he lets him cut inside there, then the keeper is in a really difficult position. But because he keeps him there, Ramsdale knows that he hasn't got a lot to aim at. In the end, he had to find a corner, which he wasn't able to do, and he made the save, Ramsdale. But a really good chance, really, for Connolly to try and find the corner, which he couldn't do.
Silence falls again at the Amex as the Brighton medical personnel treat Neil Maupay. You're listening to Brighton 0, Sheffield United 0 on TalkSport 2 with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Get a quote in 60 seconds at WeBuyAnyCar.com. Tuesday and Wednesday, the Carabao Cup quarter-finals, all 4 live across the TalkSport network on TalkSport 2. On Tuesday, Brentford Newcastle 5:30 and Stoke Spurs at 5:30 on Wednesday. Then on Boxing Day, 5 live and exclusive commentaries from the Premier League in EFL across the network. 12:30 Leicester Man United on TalkSport. 3 o'clock we'll have a live game in the Championship for you on TalkSport 2. 5:30 Chelsea Arsenal, that's on TalkSport. And then we've got a choice of commentaries for you on Boxing Day at 8. I'll be alongside Jermaine Beckford for Manchester City against Newcastle on TalkSport. And then TalkSport 2 at 8 o'clock on Boxing Day. Sheffield United's next game, a home clash with Everton, who started the day in second place in the Premier League, a Merseyside 1-2.
Maupay's back on the pitch now. I think it was him and Robinson on the halfway line that both went up for a ball, and it always makes me laugh because he did get a contact on the chin or the side of the head, Maupay, but he's down here with the fourth official saying it was an elbow. I can never understand that. If you're playing and you jump for a ball and there's a defender behind you and you get a clump on the back of the head, how do you know if it's been an elbow or not? If you've got your eye on the ball and you jump with the ball, you wouldn't know anyway. It's up to the referee or players who can actually see the instant to ascertain whether it is an elbow or not.
That's the former West Ham defender Alvin Martin. We've had just under 25 minutes. Brighton 0, Sheffield United 0. 2 half chances for the home team, but nothing really more than that. A looping header over the top from Lewis Dunk in a crowded penalty area, and then Aaron Connolly at a slight angle inside the 18-yard box, shooting straight at Aaron Ramsdale. And Sheffield United, in many ways, despite, again, not being ahead in a game, they still haven't won a game this season. They haven't won since July. You'd think will be the happy of the two teams with the score 0-0. Bissouma, good ball down the right hand side. Trossard will hair after it in a foot race with Robinson, but he's got there first and he's into the area and he's pulled it back and is cleared off the line by Basham to deny Maupay, and somehow the ball ends up ricocheting into the gloves of Aaron Ramsdale. It's a massive let off that for Sheffield United.
Well, just maybe Chris Wilder's luck is taking a turn because they got really fortunate there. Poor defender on the edge of the box. Trossard dispossessed the defender, which I think was Robinson, but he's played the ball in, and it wasn't a great finish really, but it was certainly a finish that took a deflection, and it's ended up really fortunately in the hands of Ramsdale. So a big let off for Sheffield United, but I think he'll feel that maybe they've earned that. They've been really solid at the back. They've been asked a lot of questions by Brighton. At the moment they've got the answers.
They've had some tough moments in the Premier League this season, Sheffield United, as you say, Alvin. A number of single goal defeats. I think it's 9 in total in the Premier League that they've lost by a single goal this season. They had that 90th minute defeat at home recently, that 90th minute winner to Leicester City. They impressed against Manchester United on Thursday, but performances count for nothing if they don't also lead to points. Here is Stevens near side of the field. Infield to Fleck. Fleck on the corner of the penalty area. Back it goes to McGoldrick, the top scorer at Sheffield United. Swung in by Robinson. Left-footed, and it's plucked out of the air easily by Sanchez, the Spanish Brighton goalkeeper. And a great throw downfield, just a little too long for Neil Maupay, who was trying to get on the end of it. Egan across to Marshall Maupay and win it back for Sheffield United. And they go all the way back to goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. It's finely poised, isn't this, Alvin? Because you do feel that Sheffield United slowly growing into the game. 27 minutes gone and still 0-0. And the longer it stays goalless, the more likely these 2,000 home fans are to get increasingly frustrated.
Yep, I think you're right. And that's something that Sheffield United can certainly use to their advantage. But I've got to say, I've been very impressed with Egan in centre half. He's been outstanding in this first 27 minutes. Brilliant.
He's had a lot of work to do, John Egan, the Sheffield United skipper. Here is Webster for Brighton, wearing number 4 on the halfway line. Out to the left-hand channel and march, right at the base of the East Stand where the Brighton supporters are watching. It's pummeled downfield by Dunk. Not a great ball on the diagonal, easily headed away by Ender Stevens. And Trossard turning and twisting on the halfway line, wins a free kick off Brewster.
He's got to do better, Brewster. His team's under pressure for the majority, and them sort of balls that are played up to him, he's got to hold on to them. He's got to relieve the pressure on his team.
There's a lot of pressure on those young shoulders. Rhian Brewster, club record signing at Sheffield United, £23.5 million. As Robinson hammers the ball into touch, into the West Stand here on the near side of the field. There are a cluster of supporters up in the gods here in the West Stand at the Amex, the upper tier. You can see them away to the right-hand side as we look at it. In commentary position just to the left of the halfway line. Brighton playing from left to right in the first half in their blue and white, and they've now conceded a throw. Slightly sloppy play and miscommunication involving White and Veltman. And it's a throw to Sheffield United in what is effectively their left-back position, 0-0.
I think you're right to mention the frustration part of this game. Brighton will feel that they've certainly had the better possession. They've had certainly more intent around the final third. I think they've got the better equipped forwards to score. So if they go in at half time 0-0, maybe a bit of impatience will start to creep in from their point of view, and there might be an opportunity for them to bank on that. I think Sheffield United, but certainly what they need to do is do what they've done up to this point: stay together. Make sure that their attitude is 100% committed at the back. Just improve the quality back into the front. They aren't going to just, I think, just keep a clean sheet and get the job done today. They need to also look at, offering a problem going back the other way with their forwards.
6 home games in the Premier League this season. Brighton 6 without a victory. Webster steaming forward to the corner of the penalty area, far side there left. March will pick it up down by the corner flag. He'll drive in across. It misses everybody inside the 6-yard box, and Stevens just conscientiously nudges it behind because he knew that Veltman was coming in on the right hand channel for Brighton, looking to get in behind at the far post, and he definitely knocks it out of play. And Brighton have themselves a 4th corner of the game with a match still scoreless.
They're horrible ones to defend, they are. When you're a defender on the far post, you don't know where you manage at the back of you, and you don't know if he's going to try and whip in the front of you. So you're really uncomfortable for a millisecond there. He did really well to deal with it.
Trossard will take the corner again, right-footed, out swinging from the near side of the field. Once more he raises the arm up into the air and he clips it high up towards Webster, climbing at the far post, and Maupay's in there, and Dunk was there too, and somehow the ball has landed on the roof of the net. A terrific, potentially goal-saving challenge from Ethan Ampadu. It's another Brighton corner.
How on earth he hasn't scored there, I do not know. And Maupay will be wondering as well, because the ball is on the 6-yard box. It seems to have been there for an eternity. He strikes the ball in the end, but Ampadu somehow deflects it over the bar. They're riding the luck here, Sheffield United.
Brighton fans finding their collective voice again, and it's a great privilege to be here on TalkSport 2, and my, how nice it is to see at times a pretty raucous home crowd. Corner beneath these overcast cloudy skies, in by Trossard, headed away at the near post, and Sheffield United get themselves a free kick. I think it was Lundstrom who was clattered into. It was a brave header to clear, and Chris Wilder can just turn away again here, Alvin, and have a quick word with Alan Neil. I wonder whether they're readying a change here, actually, Sheffield United, because I think it's Oliver Burke who's stripped and ready to come on. You could only assume that perhaps there's an injury concern, and I don't think it's for Lundstrom specifically, because he's just got up and is walking away. Webster has stayed down, the Brighton defender, but Oliver Burke is getting some last-minute instructions from Chris Wilder here, and he will be coming on.
Yeah, I can't see anyone struggling injury-wise out there, so it's a strange one. Maybe he's seen something tactically that he wants to find a solution to, but they are going to make a change.
Well, we have had over half an hour. Brighton 0, Sheffield United 0 on TalkSport 2, which you can listen to on DAB radio, on your smart speaker, online or via the app. Just swipe left and then right if you want to listen to TalkSport, where you'll be able to be kept up to date with all of the Premier League action this afternoon. Tottenham against Leicester, Manchester United against Leeds, and West Brom against Villa. And the change for Sheffield United sees John Fleck leave the field and Oliver Burke coming on. And I wonder what this will mean for Sheffield United and Chris Wilder from a tactical perspective, Alvin Martin.
I think he wants to see more from his team going forward. I think they've dominated the large proportion of the play, Brighton, and have certainly looked the more likely, and they have been riding the luck. I think when you're riding your luck, you think, well, if you don't find a solution, you don't improve your game.
Here's a chance for Burke straight away, herring through the middle, and a free kick given to Sheffield United right on the edge of the penalty area. A loose ball ricocheted down the middle towards Oliver Burke, who seized upon it. First touch of the ball, and he was tripped by Lewis Dunk, and it's a free kick to Sheffield United. A yellow card for the Brighton captain right on the edge of the 18-yard box, Alvin.
Yeah, just a lack of concentration. The ball broke and they didn't read it, and once you're in a foot race, he's not the quickest Dunk. I'm not saying he's slow, but certainly Burke is the faster man, and he just gets a toe to the ball, just does enough. He was booked for it, but he knew what he was doing there, Dunk. He had to make contact with Burke.
Alvin sat just to my left at a
I've done that a few times, by the way.
And shot down a forward when clean on goal. It was a professional foul, wasn't it? A yellow card for Dunk and a 5-man Brighton wall, all in blue. But this is a real opportunity, you sense, for Sheffield United. Just to the left of the edge of the D, couple of yards from the 18-yard line, and only Lundstrom and McGoldrick now standing over the ball. Stevens just to the left, Ampadu just to the right. The referee blows his whistle as McGoldrick calls it. What a save down to his left by Sanchez. What a stop from the Brighton goalkeeper on his home debut. As we welcome listeners on TalkSport, Robert Sanchez has had nothing to do so far with the score still 0-0, but bottom of the table, Sheffield United going so close to taking the lead. What a plunging save that was, down to his left to tip it away, Alvin Martin.
I am very, very impressed with that goalkeeper, especially when you've had nothing to do. That is a fabulous save.
And it's a corner to Sheffield United. Brighton have dominated the game so far in terms of possession, certainly had the better of it in terms of half chances, but that the moment of the match so far. Lundstrom will take the corner, right-footed out swinging, flicked away towards the near side. Lallana will get there first in front of Basham. The ball goes out of play. It's a Brighton throw in their defensive third. There are 10 minutes of this first half remaining. Remember, you can listen to TalkSport 2 online, on DAB radio, on your smart speaker, and via the TalkSport app. Just swipe left. Commentary continues with us. It's Brighton 0, Sheffield United 0.
Adam Lallana's just tried to buy a foul. Again, Peter Banks is having none of it. I like him. I like Peter Banks. I think he's certainly a referee that knows when players are trying to maybe get the benefits and trying an edge with cunningness, and he's certainly a match for them. So I think the players know where they stand now, and it doesn't take them long. They're quite intelligent players, believe it or not.
McGoldrick surrounded by 3 in blue and robbed of possession, and Bissouma win a throw on the near side of the field. Sheffield United, you sense, growing in confidence here. There's a tenacity and a tigerishness to the game, and 1 or 2 tackles are starting to fly in, and the Brighton supporters on the far side and behind the goal to the left are starting to get involved. But Sheffield United, after that change, Alvin, are they just playing 5-10 yards further up the field?
I think what Chris has seen is that his side have come out with a very good attitude. But if there was any team going to score, it was certainly Brighton. You would have thought, Joe. And he knows that can't go on. They've rode the luck 3 or 4 times, and he's thought we have got to play better. We've got to improve this, otherwise we're going to concede. We're going to lose this game. And I think it's a very, intelligent, brave decision to make a change and say, right, okay, we're going to get another man up front, we're going to give you more to think about defensively, and that's exactly what the substitution has been able to achieve.
Here's Basham, 1-2 with McGoldrick out on that far side, level with the edge of the Brighton penalty area. Sheffield United having a really good spell in the game. 36.5 minutes gone, live on TalkSport 2. Brighton 0, Sheffield United 0. And Brighton without a home win this season in the Premier League. 6 games and no victories. They've only once had a longer run without a home win at the start of any season. That was 7 games in 2002-2003. What was that 7th game? A 40 defeat to Sheffield United.
Well, look, they've got Brewster up front and Burke now, and McGoldrick's gone a little bit deeper, but he's playing like a number 10, so certainly a lot more for Brighton to worry about when they lose the ball.
Well, Brighton have got possession at the moment with Webster midway into opposition territory. Connolly, was he fouled by Robinson?
Trying to buy the foul again, and he's not having it, the ref.
Oh, and then Lundstrom goes in really hard on Veltman. That was a potentially dangerous challenge, and 4 Brighton players surround the referee. The home fans on their feet. Graham Potter is furious. VAR will certainly check this, but John Lundstrom could be in big trouble here, Alvin Martin.
That's a red. I haven't seen a replay of it, but from where I am, that looks like a red card, and I don't often say that. I'm somebody that always gives somebody the benefit of the doubt. He's got a decision for sure to make here, the referee.
And it's a yellow card for Lundstrom. Boos from the home supporters.
That is fortunate.
Well, I have to say,
I know a lot of referees that would have had no hesitation in getting a red card out for that. The ball goes away from him. Oh,
I mean, he's got in 2-footed, has he not?
Well, no, I wouldn't say 2-footed. But certainly, he's gone for the ball, but that's a reckless challenge, in my opinion.
Well, VAR is checking for a possible red card. Peter Banks is the on-field official. Michael Oliver is the VAR. And it's certainly 1 foot off the ground. And he goes in hard on Veltman. And he catches the lower leg ankle, doesn't he, of the Dutchman. And I would be surprised, Alvin, if VAR doesn't have a word in the ear of the referee and say, look, we think that's a red.
He gets the ball. Lundstrom, he gets the ball before the actual follow-through. That's the only thing that can save him. But he's being asked now, which usually means that they think at Stockley Park this is a red.
Here he comes. Peter Banks trots off to the monitor, away to the left-hand side. It's positioned deliberately away from the dugout so there can be no interference. And the home supporters, 2,000 on their feet, as the match referee, who's had a steady game so far, watches things unfolding on his monitor. We've got the pictures that he's seeing here in the press box, and he's watching a slow motion replay of that tackle by Lundstrom on Veltman. Here he comes, the referee, having had a look at the monitor, signals that he's done so, reaches for his pocket, looks towards Lundstrom, and he's going to overturn the yellow card here, and he's reaching for his back pocket, and up goes into the air, out of the pocket of the referee, the red card for John Lundstrom. And Sheffield United are down to 10 men with just over 5 minutes of the first half remaining, and Chris Wilder, whose side had performed well so far this afternoon on the south coast, find themselves in all sorts of bother once again. Lundstrom trudges off towards the tunnel, and it's 0-0, but Sheffield United will have to play the rest of the game a man light.
Look, 15 years ago, that might not have been a red, but these days, and I hate saying it, that's the game. You're endangering an opponent. You've got all these phrases that would cover that, but this is a referee that doesn't want to send anyone off. I don't think he had an alternative there.
So Sheffield United down to 10 men. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. 4.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go in the first half. Floated forward by Trossard from the free kick, headed away, comes out to Lallana. Veltman, by the way, is okay and is continuing the Brighton man. I just got the sense, Alfred, that it was reaching boiling point, this game, and you just wondered whether a tackle like that was around the corner, and so it came. I think there are disputes about it as Conley tries to flick a header towards goal from March's cross. It's gone behind. There'll be some that don't think it's a red. There'll be some that in the modern era are sure that it is. I mean, he did get to the ball, didn't he? But the problem was the follow through on the leg of Veltman.
We see it so often, Joe. What happens is he had the ball he's had a bad touch. And when you have a bad touch and the ball runs away from you, you get a bit desperate. And then you end up lunging for a ball. And he did get some of the ball. But I think that there are a lot of people within the game that would look at that and think he's very, very fortunate, Veltman, because that could have been a leg breaker. They would have looked at it like that. And I think, from that point of view, I thought it was certainly a challenge. As soon as I seen it, I hadn't seen a replay. I went, oh dear,
serious foul play.
That's a red. That's a red. I mean, as close as you're going to get to red. And bearing in mind, the only thing that could have the fact that this referee, I think, is a good referee from my point of view. He lets the game flow. He knows that players are trying to feign injury at times. They're trying to nick little bits. As soon as they asked him to go to the monitor, and he had already brandished the yellow, I think that what they're saying to him is, have another look at this. It might be worse than what you first thought.
Lundstrom sent off. Serious foul play is the offence. Michael Oliver, the VAR, had a look at it, and then Peter Banks consulted his pitch side monitor, and after the review, Sheffield United down to 10 men. 0-0 the score at the Amex on TalkSport 2. McGoldrick thinks he's fouled, doesn't get the free kick. Brighton get a throw in their right full-back position. There are 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go.
They've ridden their luck a few times, haven't they? It's been it's led a charmed life at times. Let's say that the Sheffield United goal, but you'll feel that a little bit of luck that he's had during this first half, Chris Wilder, maybe has evaporated. He might see that difference, that challenge. I'm sure you do. When you're on the receiving end of a red card, you look at it differently.
Haven't picked up a point away from home all season, Sheffield United. They've only picked up a single point, home or away, in the Premier League. They don't need draws, they need wins. And their task is rendered ever more difficult here as the sun is just trying to peek its way through the clouds overhead. The floodlights on here on the south coast, swathes of empty blue seats at this compact ground. It's new, but relatively new, but there's still real character about it. And because Brighton and Hove remains in Tier 2, we've got 2,000 in for the second consecutive game.
It's got character, and that thing sums up the game now from Sheffield United's point of view. It's what they needed to show coming into the game. I think they have showed it, but they've gone into a back four now. Basham, who's been known to play in midfield, is more than comfortable in there. He's dropped into midfield in there. It'll still be a difficult game for Brighton.
Here is Brewster by the corner flag, conceded to throw off Dunk, who's got streaks of mud on his white shorts. And Chris Wilder watching with his arms folded. You can sort of feel the nerves in every sinew of his body, wide-eyed and tunnel-visioned as he watches on. And Stevens will take this throw for Sheffield United. It's 5 yards from the corner flag, from right to left towards the end where the Brighton fans are housed. And Ampadu tried to float across into the box, and I just don't know what he was thinking, because it floated harmlessly behind for a goal kick. I mean, in terms of the best moment of the match, Sheffield United, you could argue, have had, well, if not the best chance, one of the best opportunities. That save from Sanchez to deny McGoldrick from the free kick. But when you are just getting into a game, the last thing you need is to have to reorganise, having gone down to 10 men.
And I think also, there's another side to this. Brighton, now that they have got the advantage of an extra man, they'll get a little bit frustrated, I think, in this second half. If they don't get a goal, I think the pressure will mount and they'll start to get very impatient, and that can sometimes lead to the fact that you're expecting to certainly win a game now, subconsciously in your head, when you are a man to the good.
Alvin Martin alongside me, Joe Shannon, on TalkSport 2. 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half, goalless at the Amex, but Sheffield United are down to 10 men. Are they playing with a flat back four, Sheffield United, at the moment?
Yeah, Basham's gone into midfield. Yeah, they've gone to a back four.
Here is White, near side for Brighton, angle to the near side, and Veltman has got White to get on the overlap. Oh, it's a dreadful cross. He tried to clip it in first time, and it'll land on top of one of those blue and white banners behind the goal to the right hand side. I wonder what Graham Potter is going to be thinking now, Albert, and just whether they need a little bit more ingenuity in the final third.
Well, I'm sure that's something he'll address at half time. Maybe he will make a change, but certainly you expect them to have more possession. They've had quite a lot of possession in the first half anyway, but more possession. He'll be wanting to make more of the possession, that is for sure. But let's go back to that save, because the main reason it's 0-0 is that they've had a little bit of good fortune, I think, in their own penalty area, Sheffield United. But the goal that they looked like they had, and it was such a good save, Joe. I see a lot of goalkeepers making saves that are average, and we hear people saying, what a great save. Well, this wasn't an average save. This was a great save from Sanchez, and that's the only reason it's 0-0.
Good flick by Brewster down the middle. Burke will hair after it. Back from Dunk to his goalkeeper. Hurried clearance from Sanchez up to the midway point of his own half. We've had 90 seconds of the 3 minutes added at the end of the first period. Brighton 0, 10-man Sheffield United 0. March is steaming forward down the far side of the left. He's blocked off by Brewster. Good diligent defensive work from the Sheffield United man. But now here's Bissouma for Brighton, middle of the opposition territory. Now Veltman, near side the right, sets up wide on the overlapping run. Dinks in the high cross from the dead ball line, and Basham, facing his own goal, had to head it behind, and Sheffield United have to summon their powers of concentration here, because Brighton have got themselves a sixth corner of the game.
Yeah, it wasn't a great ball, was it? You know, it was dinked up at the far post. And what they don't have really, Brighton, in their armoury or in their ranks is a big centre forward that would feed off a ball like that. Everything has got to be quite precise, because he's not the biggest front man, Morpay.
Corner which March will take in front of the supporters away on that far side of the field. March, left-footed, out-swinging, headed away by Basham. It was a poor delivery, didn't beat the first man. It's come back up to Trossard, away in the left-wing position. Cuts onto his right foot, flicks in the delivery, and that's easy for Ramsdale, who'll pluck it out of the air, go down in his 6-yard box, while away a few seconds, and that should be enough for Chris Wilder and Sheffield United to at least get to half-time with the score 0-0. A little bit of movement in the stands. One or two spectators making their way up the flights of steps towards the concourse areas. All eyes on the referee as Whiteness controls. Burke has won it back for Sheffield United, charging up to the edge of the penalty area. There's a full 360 spin and turn, and now Basham, edge of the D. To Baldock. We've had the 3 minutes of stoppage time. 0-0 the score. Baldock looks up on TalkSport 2. Can he get away from March? He heads towards the corner flag, and the half-time whistle goes. Never short of action, excitement or drama on the south coast. It's been end-to-end at times, but there's certainly the major flashpoint in the game. The sending off of Sheffield United's John Lundstrom late in the first period after a VAR review. Peter Banks encouraged to come across and check that monitor just to the left of the halfway line. He did exactly that, and having initially yellow-carded Lundstrom, overturned that and gave him a red for serious foul play. Prior to that, Sheffield United had just been easing themselves into the game. McGoldrick forced a terrific save from Sanchez from a free kick. Brighton had started the better. They've dominated possession. Morpay missed their best chance, cleared off the line by Chris Basham. And so at the break on TalkSport 2, it's Brighton 0, 10-man Sheffield United 0.
Thank you, Joe Shannon and Alvin Martin. Word with Alvin in just a second. We'll be off to speak to the Moose in a while with matters next. Spurs against Leicester City. Alvin, they're going to give those these days. I think if they'd just kept the yellow card, you could have taken that as well. There's nearly for me a little bit there of a sin bin, but we're not going to have one of those in the game either.
Yeah.
I think that's the sort of decision I could have seen with that one particularly. Yes, you're absolutely right in commentary. You know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that wasn't. One thing I have noticed watching a lot of these games without fans or with not many fans here, there's a lot of vocal cheating going on. There really is.
Oh yeah,
there.
Absolutely.
The squealing by some of these youngsters is just embarrassing at times.
Well,
and on that one, okay, he squealed again, and he's up and about, and there's no problem. But I understand why he's been sent off in the end because of the nonsense that we have with VAR. I think the yellow card would have been okay. I don't think anybody would have thought anything more of it than the yellow card. They carried on, but and I'm not talking about his squealing so much on that, but here again today, everybody moaning, squealing, whatever they want to do with it's a contact sport still. It might not be for much longer.
Well, I don't think it is anywhere near as much as it used to be.
Of course it is
and it's look, I think the game is suffering.
That's cheating. You're right. It is
the game's suffering. It's people's interpretation of the rules, right now, and where we are now, Mark. And this has been going on for 2 or 3 years. It's gradually it's been nibbling away at the fabric of the physical side of the game, which now is I reckon about 50% of what it should be.
I watched the first 10 minutes sort of quite intently as your voice got underway, and there was, these days, people expect just to be brushed and they can go down and get a free kick. It's an absolute nonsense.
Well, that referee, I think, was very good.
I thought he's been good. He's
adept at spotting it. And the players, they know. I seen Lallana go down on the edge of the box, and he just jumped up straight away.
I mean this in a positive way.
He knew.
I mean this in a positive way. I think the referee has refereed this game as if it was an EFL game, a championship game, because he's made some really good decisions where I know a lot of other referees would have stopped the game and given the free kick and then they'll all start again. But just away from that, Alvin, it put two sides really that are struggling for any sort of confidence.
Well, it's goal scorers that they need, and I can understand it from Sheffield United's point of view, because they've taken 1 point approaching Christmas, which is dire, and no way that confidence can be high when you've had them sort of results. But Brighton they've got more. They've had better possession. They've created more chances. They've been unfortunate really not to see at least one goal. If you looked at the balance of play there, I think we've seen Sheffield United have one chance, and Sheffield United, Brighton, have 4 or 5, decent chances.
Well, there's one I don't know how it. I mean, I thought it had gone underneath the keeper, but it hadn't, and then somehow, and I thought, perhaps this is Sheffield United's lucky day.
Yeah. Well, again, it may have turned for him, but now he's got a job on his hands. I think he's gone into a back four. Yeah. They've got more threat now, and sometimes
Burke's made a difference. That was a good substitution.
They've looked better. That was the one part of the performance from Chris Wilder in the first half. I wish we could have created a little bit more of a problem going forward for Brighton, because Brighton had it all their own way. As soon as he made the change, it was a positive change, which now is it going to backfire, because they've had a man sent off since then, and things were going so well. They look to be getting better towards the end of that first half for them. Now the game could turn again because of the one-man disadvantage.
Well, there's absolutely nothing between them except the number of players on the pitch at the moment. So it's 10 against 11. It's Brighton who will be really disappointed if they don't come away with all 3 points in this one, but who knows. 45 minutes where I've seen a lot of the games at this stage, because there's a lot of football being played that mentally as well as physically they get drained in the second half. We'll wait and see with Joe Shannon and with Alvin Martin here on Talk Sport 2.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app, and on your smart speaker. Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2. Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with WeBuyAnyCar.com. To find out how much your car's worth in under 60 seconds, enter your reg now.
Finding your perfect new home can be tough. So if you keep missing out,
it's time to search out On the Market.
There are thousands of new properties to buy or rent every month at onthemarket.com. 24 hours or more before they're on Rightmove or Zoopla.
On the Market.
See them first. Set up a property alert today.
Search onthemarket.com to find your perfect home.
If you're in the market, search onthemarket.com. See onthemarket.com/new and exclusive. Agents specify exclusivity.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade go.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of trade quality building products. In December, get 20% off the trade price of the Capri Grey Kitchen. Now that's a real deal. Find even more real deals at Selco Builders Warehouse and online at selcobw.com. Selco, serving the trade for 125 years.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade go.
As all the big games kick off across the nation, head to thesun.co.uk/football for all the fallout following another massive weekend of football in the Premier League and beyond.
That is a fantastic goal!
The hottest news, essential views, live blogs, and the biggest opinions in the game from the biggest names in the game.
They've done it!
And with a reporter at every game across the country, thesun.co.uk/football has all the football news you need. The Sun, we live it.
December. We're not saying the entire year is resting on you, but it kind of is. So get ready to get festive with Just Eat, because we've got it all. McDonald's Celebrations McFlurry, Pret's Pigs in Blankets Roll, Friday's Festive Burger, Prezzo's Christmas Carbonara, and loads more. Get the festive feels on Just Eat. Go on, December.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Selected stores and locations. See Just Eat website for details.
This Christmas on Disney Plus. Stream the biggest new releases, plus all your festive favourites. Experience Disney's epic live-action Mulan.
It is my duty to fight.
The smash hit Broadway musical Hamilton.
This is Hamilton.
and relive the #1 animated movie, Frozen 2.
I'll bring the snacks!
Make this Christmas wonderful with Disney Plus. All these and more now streaming. 18 plus subscription required. T's and C's apply.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass. Only pay for the games that matter to you from just $9.99. Search Now TV. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Tuesday evening, League Cup quarter-finals live. Brentford versus Newcastle. Coverage from 5. Kick-off 5:30 on TalkSport 2. Now on DAB+.
The exclusive on TalkSport 2.
Infield, plays it back to Lallana, who shoots, and it takes a deflection, and it goes behind for Brighton's third corner of the afternoon. The referee blows his whistle as McGoldrick calls it. What a save down to his left by Sanchez. What a stop from the Brighton goalkeeper on his home debut. Oh, and then Lundstrom goes in really hard on Veltman. That was a potentially dangerous challenge. VAR will certainly check this. Here he comes, the referee, having had a look at the monitor, signals that he's done so, reaches for his pocket, looks towards Lundstrom, and he's going to overturn the yellow card here, and he's reaching for his back pocket, and up goes into the air, out of the pocket of the referee, the red card for John Lundstrom. And so at the break on TalkSport 2, it's Brighton 0, 10-man Sheffield United 0.
Well, there we are. That's the stage at half-time then, with Sheffield United with it all to do. There's a lot of other exciting action in the Premier League this afternoon. Later on, Manchester United leads, West Brom against Villa, Spurs against Leicester City is the game up next, and Ian Abrahams is there for us today. What a great game this one, I think, could be today, Ian.
Yeah, it certainly could, Mark. I mean, third against fourth. They're chasing the two sides from Merseyside, these two. And whoever wins, if we have a winner here today, will be second behind Liverpool at Christmas. The form Mourinho's side, Mark, won 6 here this season. And they're unbeaten in 10 on their own patch. Leicester, though, prefer to be away from home under Brendan Rodgers. At home they haven't done so great, but only Manchester United have picked up more points on the road this season in the Premier League than Leicester. But, and this is a big but, Brendan Rodgers has never beaten Jose Mourinho before when he's come up against him as manager. The two know each other well from their days at Chelsea, but will it be the master or the apprentice today, I wonder?
Yeah, no, he's had the better of him, hasn't he, when Brendan was at Liverpool, Jose Mourinho. Just one thing for me, though, Ian, with this as well, this game today, I mean, I feel that with Jose Mourinho, it's defensive first. I mean, he's got some great attacking force at Spurs, but Leicester City will want Tottenham to come onto them, and I'm not sure how much they're going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Spurs last week at Crystal Palace when it was almost the opposite, two teams who like to sit back, and it was actually a decent game. Spurs parked the bus way too early and paid the price for that.
Yeah, they did.
Because Palace got the equaliser. You're right. I mean, Leicester do like teams to come onto them, and Spurs generally don't do that. And I'm sure that Jose is not going to play into the hands of Brendan Rodgers and Jamie Vardy. The other thing which will be interesting is that, don't forget, midweek live on TalkSport, Stoke against Spurs in the quarterfinals of the League Cup. Now, with the semi-finals only being one game, Jose is 3 wins away from winning his first trophy here. So his team selection this afternoon could be absolutely fascinating as well.
Yeah, I don't think you go, though, these days. They've just got to get on with the squads. We've had it from Klopp all week, haven't we? Everybody knows where we are, what is happening. It's just the way it is. They've got enormous squads these days. They've just got to get on with it. And if he starts to think, I think this is a massive game for Spurs today.
Especially after losing to Liverpool. I mean, and that was gutting. I mean, they had chances the other night. Bergwijn hit the post and normally Kane would bury that header. And to lose in the last seconds to Firmino's header will really have hurt Jose. And he will want to win today, absolutely. I mean, I'm being a little bit facetious regarding the League Cup, although Spurs haven't won anything for a long time since one day Ramos led them to a League Cup win. But they are only 3 victories away in that competition. But the league is very much there, and with the other residents in North London, as you discussed earlier in your programme before the commentary, having a really, really tough time right now. This is the time for Spurs to really put their foot down at the top of the table.
Absolutely, is looking forward to it. Ian, thank you very much indeed. Ian Abrahams, our man this afternoon at the New White Hart Lane, and what a game that is going to be today. Spurs against Leicester City. Sheffield United just making their way back out here right now, and work for them to do. What tactics do we see now from Sheffield United here, do you think, Alvin?
Well, they've just got to be more intelligent when they play the ball forward, Mark, because obviously you want to be able to still create chances, and the way to do that, I mean, they've gone into a back four, which be formidable back four. It's a well-balanced back four, and I think now when you do actually pick the time to play forward, it's the right time to join it. You don't take unnecessary chances, and 20 minutes into the second half, if it's still 0-0, the opposition are going to get frustrated and impatient, and that can be a time when you can maybe exploit that and come back into the game. And it's only going to take one goal. If they were to get a goal, then a lot more pressure on Brighton, but he needs to make the decision now, Graham Potter. What do I do? He's got an attacking team already. He's going to bring Johan Bash on, and that's something that will change the game, because he runs with the ball. He wants to take people on.
Well, let's get those half-time odds then with 888 Sport. Brighton win now, 13-25 on. So that's 25-13 on, 13-25. Really short. The draw 11-5. And Sheffield United, if you still fancy them somehow to get something out of this one, 10-1 on Sheffield United. That was the very latest odds with 888 Sport. Play responsibly. 18+, begambleaware.org. Massive 45 minutes of the season here for both of these two teams, and a change, a first one of the day for Brighton. Here's Joe Shenner.
Yes, and the Iranian Ali Reza Jahanbakhsh is the man to come on, and it's certainly an attacking change from a Brighton perspective, because as I look onto the field of play and the fourth official holds up that electronic board, it looks like Joel Veltman is the man who is coming off. So you certainly can't accuse Graham Potter of not going forward at the start of this second half. He's been a regular off the bench, Jahanbakhsh, in recent times. His last Premier League goal was on New Year's Day, though it was a stunner against Chelsea. In fact, I think it won the Brighton Goal of the Season award. It was certainly up there in terms of sheer quality across the Premier League for the season, and confirmation of that change with Sheffield United set to get us underway. The 10 men of Sheffield United at the start of the second half, from left to right towards the empty South Stand in pink and grey, and Brighton and Hove Albion in their traditional home colours of blue and white, playing from right to left towards where some of the 2,000 home supporters are housed behind that North Stand goal. So 0-0 the score. Sheffield United down to 10 men as the second half has kicked off live on TalkSport 2. And here's an early touch for Leandro Trossard, dropping deep inside his own half. He's fouled by Baldock, and Brighton have themselves a free kick. Sanchez is the Brighton goalkeeper. White, Duncan, Webster are the central defenders. Jahanbakhsh, Bissouma, Lallana and March. Connolly, Trossard and Morpay are the forward three. Sheffield United, Ramsdale the goalkeeper, a back four, given that they're down to 10 men, of Baldock, Egan, Robinson and Stevens, Burke, Basham, Ampadu and McGoldrick in midfield. Brewster playing the role of lone striker up front as Ramsdale hacks the ball clear downfield. A minute into the second half, Brighton 0, 10-man Sheffield United 0. Some of those home supporters in the sunshine in the East Stand just returning to their seats. And here's Albin Martin.
Yeah, Brighton will go into a 4-4-2 now, and they obviously want to get Johan Bash on that right hand side, on the ball, taking people on. And although you've got a man advantage, just passing through a team is not easy. Now and again you need somebody to be able to take a player on, to get past his man, and then it opens up, Joe. So Johan Bash on that right hand side is a player that will run with the ball. He'll want the ball played in behind, and then obviously Solly March on this left hand side, he'll push forward and try and play at a wing back role, because they will sit back a little bit deeper now, Sheffield United, and allow you to have more possession.
As this young Brighton side go in search of a victory that would take them above Arsenal and into 15th in the Premier League. March to the dead ball line, well tackled by Burke, tracking back for Sheffield United, who, remember, have picked up just a point so far this season. They've lost their last 8 straight Premier League matches. They haven't won in any competition since July. And they've had John Lundstrom sent off. Chris Wilder, arms folded, watching on. Our commentary position is just to the left of the halfway line, right by the mouth of the tunnel, 10 yards up from the near side touchline, so nice and close to the action on TalkSport 2. Blue skies overhead as Trossard finds Connolly with his back to goal. Edge of the D, smuggled away by Sheffield United. It's come back to Trossard again. Angles the pass wide left to March. Good early cross, cut out by Robinson. It's come back to Trossard, 25 yards out, onto his left foot. Finds Lallana, back to Trossard, through to Connolly, in the area. Good save by Ramsdale, but the offside flag, belatedly as is the case these days, they are told, the assistant referees, to put the flag up after the phase of play has been completed. It does go up, and Sheffield United have a free kick out.
So I think what we're seeing now is obviously a lot more possession for Brighton. It's what they can do with it, because they're playing into congested areas, and that was decent one-touch play. It was well offside when it eventually arrived at the feet of Connolly. I'd like to see Lallana just playing a little bit further forward in them tighter areas, because he has got the ability, even when it's a packed area, to get the ball to turn, and he's got the awareness to be able to bring people into play. So he's got to take a little bit more responsibility and go into them areas, knowing that there's a risk he could lose the ball as well.
Ramsdale, all in bright lime green, almost the colour of the stewards' jackets, will hammer the clearance high downfield, but Brighton have got it back, and here's Jahan Bash on the edge of the area, square to Trossard, who drags it wide left-footed. Should have done much better, but Graham Potter applauds. So too do the 2,000 Brighton fans. They're gradually getting closer and closer. 0-0.
Trossard's got to hit the target. It's a perfect ball. Jahan Bash gets the ball, he sprints with it, he covers the ground, he plays a lovely ball to his left for Trossard coming onto it. He couldn't have played it with any better weight or precision, and he's saying hit the target. He dragged his left foot shot well wide of the target there, Trossard. Great chance.
I'll tell you what, the acoustics here are terrific, aren't they, at the Amex? It holds 30,000, but it's all compact. There are no gaps between the stands. And 2,000, Mark Saggers had told me this before the game, they really do make a noise here. You don't need many to create a fairly cacophonous atmosphere. Lots of blue and white replica shirts and scarves I can see in the stands. The Brighton fans are really getting behind their team, who haven't won a Premier League home game in 6 months. And Sheffield United without an away point so far this season, the only one of the 92 teams in England's top 4 divisions without an away point. Dunk, mud on his white shorts, square to March, deep into opposition territory, pulls it back to the edge of the area. Here's Bissouma, dinks it into the box, right-footed, and Trossard will hair after it, just too much on it, and through it goes to Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, like you said, the right idea, but he just dunked his toes underneath it, didn't he, Bissouma, and he just got too much on it, really. It needed a bit more flight on it, but they're the sort of balls that they should be able to play now. With the man advantage, you're going to win the ball back a lot easier, so take a chance around the final third.
We've had 5 minutes of the second half on TalkSport 2. Brighton 0, 10-man, Sheffield United 0. And Brighton have come out with great vigour and purpose at the start of the second period so far. March in possession for them. Back towards Dunk, midway inside his own half, and now the giant Webster, lift of the centre circle, crosses into opposition territory, forward towards Lallana. Lallana goes on the outside, Jahan Bash waits for the overlapping run of White, he overhits the pass, and it goes behind for a Sheffield United goal kick.
You see the crowd on that far side. It's nice to see that, isn't it? The crowd on that far side is appreciative of Jahan Bash. That's been a really positive substitution, because he's got a lot of pace, he wants to drive at defenders, and I think that's something that the crowd respond to.
Very sadly, of course, given the situation around the country, there are only 4 Premier League teams who can still admit fans. 2 on the south coast, Southampton and Brighton, and Liverpool and Everton on Merseyside. Tuesday and Wednesday night on TalkSport 2, we're bringing you commentary of the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. Tuesday, Brentford against Newcastle. Wednesday, Stoke against Spurs, both 5:30 kickoffs, and then Game Day returns to the network on Boxing Day with 5 live and exclusive commentaries from the Premier League and from the EFL. As Stevens gives it away for Sheffield United, straight to White, and White in the right-back position rolls it back to his goalkeeper, all in bright orange, the very impressive Robert Sanchez.
That's the problem you've got now, Sheffield United, is with obviously a man less. You can't press the opposition. You've only got the one forward up front, and if he presses, he's just going to get played around.
Into the 53rd minute, Chris Wilder is are seeing fit to make a change very shortly. Jayden Bogle's going to come on for his Premier League debut, the former Derby player. Here come Brighton meanwhile. 0-0 the score. Jahan Bash, corner of the penalty area. Back to Trossard, central position. Flicks it wide to March, who controls and shoots! And a good block by Baldock on the edge of the 6-yard line. It might have been going wide, but it's flown behind at pace for a Brighton corner in front of the North Stand, and the fans are on their feet.
Well, I think Brighton are, certainly doing everything that they should do in terms of moving the ball, trying to make good this one-man advantage and press it home. And they're riding the luck. Sheffield United, they're getting people in the way of the ball, and he did really well, Baldock. I think you might be right, Joe. I think that might have just been going wide of the target, but Solly March really struck it well.
Alvin Martin is with me. Rhian Brewster trudges off. 10 games, no goals, and really very few clear-cut opportunities in front of goal for the club record signing. And sometimes I think he must be thinking, I've swapped Liverpool for this.
Yeah, I think it's been a tough game today. And he's in a side that's struggling to give him any decent service, but I don't think he's shown anything really of his real potential.
On comes Jayden Bogle, his Premier League debut. Corner to Brighton, pumped in high by Trossard, up towards Duck. That's a good clearing header, flicked away by Robinson, the former Liverpool player. Jahan Bash will let it trickle out to play. Brighton have a throw on the far side of the field. 0-0 the score. We've had 53 minutes on TalkSport 2. Sheffield United are down to 10 men, down at the bottom of the table, certain to be bottom at Christmas. Can they somehow start to change their fortunes against a Brighton side that have been a little goal shy, particularly here at the Amex Stadium? As the ball is thundered downfield, up towards Bogle straight away. He's playing on the right wing, and Burke looks to have gone through the middle now for Sheffield United as McGoldrick drives from midfield. Touch is heavy. Trossard's back. Trossard has given it away. Straight back to McGoldrick, who will surge forward towards the dead ball line, and then Dunk, chest puffed out, almost nonchalantly steps out of defence, and Brighton have won it back. And Dunk once again, very elegant player. Bissouma steers it back to his goalkeeper, and Brighton can build again.
I'm not so sure Graham Potter will thank Trossard for trying to back heel on the edge of his own penalty area there.
I think he was, you could almost see it happening, couldn't you? That was classic front player tracking back. And then Lewis Dunk, a la Alvin Martin, steps out of defence to win it back. You can already see the pattern of play is set. Brighton waves from right to left towards the Sheffield United goal.
Lewis Dunk has just passed the ball to Bissouma, who's on the halfway line trying to get his boot back on. Can you believe that?
He can't squeeze it in. Somebody get him a shoehorn. Here's White, edge of the penalty area, square to Trossard. Trossard crowded out, a sea of pink shirts in front of him. Here is Bissouma, trudging forward now at no great pace. Corner of the penalty area, plays it square, across to the right-hand side, and White, urged to shoot. Sheffield United defending deep. In comes the cross, headed away by Egan. Oh, and Burke heading it back towards his own goal, and Basham, well, the Brighton fans thought he'd handled that. Eventually it's hammered upfield by Ampadu. Chris Wilder instructing from the near side. But Alvin, how can Sheffield United expect to survive if they're going to be camped inside their own half for the rest of the 90 minutes? It almost feels like attack v defence at the moment.
Well, there's going to be limited opportunities. I think, you only need to make good one opportunity, Joe. So it's about staying in the game for as long as possible. But when you do get the ball up, to the front in Burke, then make sure you pick and choose the times to join him. There will be opportunities, one or two, but I think they've also got to keep it at 0-0. It's very important they don't concede.
11 minutes into the second half, and it is still goalless. And Sheffield United have made the worst start of any side to any top-flight season at this point. Here is March. 5 yards from the corner of the penalty area. Back in field to Bissouma. Brighton sunny in Sussex, so the pitch is bathed in shade. White into the penalty area for Jahan Bash. Right hand edge of it. Plays it back towards Bissouma. Good tackle on the stretch by Basham. And McGoldrick has looked long for Burke, who might be in behind here. He's controlled it inside the penalty area. Angle's very tight. Very little in terms of support for Burke. But now he pulls it back to the edge of the area. And it's struck wide. At pace by Ender Stevens. What a chance for Sheffield United on the counter-attack. Stevens running onto it, blazed it wide, first time left-footed, and it's a Brighton goal kick, and it's still 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
Exactly what we were talking about a moment ago, wasn't it? Picking and choosing the right times to commit yourself forward, and Burke does really well. He gets himself one-on-one with Dunk. He's quicker than Dunk, and they look like they're in trouble for a moment there. He turns on the byline, plays the ball back because he'd overrun it, but that ball he played back to Stevens is perfect, and that we both thought that was in. I don't know if he'd ever got to it anywhere near it, Sanchez, if it had been on target, but he certainly had the power, and he struck it. It looked like he was heading for that top corner. Great moment.
Trossard for Brighton at the other end to Bissouma, central position, 10 yards from the edge of the D, wide to March left on the edge of the area, little flick by Lallana, could fall for Conley, scrambled away, comes down for Jahanbakhsh, who took it off the toes of his own teammate there. Brighton fans are apoplectic behind the goal. Still 0-0 as we tick towards the hour mark. Sheffield United, the 10 men, defending resolutely. Bissouma, back to Dunk. Dunk is in the middle of opposition territory. Attack v defence. Jahanbakhsh onto Lallana, the former Liverpool man. Corner of the penalty area, twisting, turning, right foot and then left. Great dummy by Conley. It could fall for Lallana via a layoff from Trossard. Down though goes Jack Robinson, and Sheffield United have a free kick.
Well, you know, I think there's going to be a probability that Brighton are going to create, you know, a few chances here, and Sheffield United aren't going to create many. But it'd only take one to get Sheffield United all 3 points here, and what a win that would be. Can you imagine if they were to win this game? What a massive lift it would be.
It has been a long time. Weekend before Christmas a year ago, Ollie McBurney's winner put Sheffield United 5th in the Premier League table. They're 17 points worse off than at this stage last season. Sheffield United, they haven't picked up a point away from home since early July at Burnley. Their last Premier League win away from home was at the start of February. But in a sense, none of that matters for Chris Wilder in this situation, rooted to the bottom, and Brighton only a point clear of the bottom three at the start of the day themselves. And floated forward by Webster on the angle. They look for March again. March controls, left hand edge of the penalty area, onto his right foot, then checks back onto his left, digs out across, more play with his back to goal, couldn't control, scooped up into the air by Basham. This bright afternoon sunshine. Webster slipped as he played it wide, so too did Jahanbakhsh, and then sliding into clear with Stevens upfield to the halfway line, and a momentary bit of respite for those Sheffield United defenders as Ampadu, the Chelsea loanee, crosses halfway, pings the ball on the diagonal. That was careless. It was much too long for Bogle. Out of play for a Brighton throw in their left back position.
I hate you know, when you're a team you're down to 10 men and somebody just gives the ball away, you know, needlessly really, like that Ampadu, and it takes the wind out your sails when you know there's a possibility of getting forward and maybe trying to get at Brighton there, and they've wasted that opportunity. But Brighton are doing everything right apart from sticking the ball in the back of the net. You know, they're moving the ball quickly, they're getting it in and around the edge of the box. They've got behind Sheffield United 4 or 5 times, but they haven't been able to pull a final ball or a finish out of it.
Here is Dunk, not a pink shirt within 5 yards of him as he glides up to the midway points of opposition territory, and now Lallana through for Conley. Goalkeeper makes a good save, could fall for Jahanbakhsh. Good goalkeeping again by Ramsdale. It's come out to the far side and white. Brighton supporters wanted a penalty, but the goalkeeper bravely diving at the feet of not one but 2 Brighton players, got to the ball first on both occasions.
Never a pen.
It's still 0-0.
Never a pen. You're right, Joe. Very good goalkeeper from Ramsdale. It was a lovely ball poked through by Lallana, and he's starting to get more involved now for Brighton.
The 10 men of Sheffield United holding firm. Those 2,000 home supporters starting to get a little frustrated, on their feet behind the goal. March, left wing position, near side. Can he dig out a cross? He does. It's a good delivery. Headed away by Robinson and then hooked over his shoulder by Burke. Balloon to the halfway line. Nobody there in pink. Sheffield United have their 10 men back behind the ball.
Solly March has put a ball in there that's begging to be attacked. You know, and he'll be asking questions, why isn't somebody on the end of that? Great ball.
Here is Jahanbakhsh, dead ball line, far side the right, pulls it back, cut out by Basham with ease at the near post. We've had over an hour. You're listening to Brighton 0, Sheffield United 0, the 10 men of Sheffield United on TalkSport 2 with Now TV. Don't forget you can watch this game live right now with a Now TV Sky Sports Pass for just $9.99. Search Now TV. TalkSport will keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in from the Premier League this afternoon in the Sunday session and Darren Bent's boot room. We've got Spurs, Leicester, Man United, Leeds, West Brom against Aston Villa. And TalkSport breakfast back from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. The Watford skipper, Troy Deeney, will be with us for breakfast after Watford sacked their head coach Vladimir Ivic this weekend. Here comes Sheffield United. Stevens from McGoldrick, left-hand edge of the penalty area, tees it back, and here's Jayden Bogle! It's deflected in! Would you believe it? The 10 men of Sheffield United have taken the lead, and it's Jayden Bogle on his Premier League debut, spinning, turning, and the deflection took the shot beyond Sanchez, and our Sheffield United showing their survival instincts. It's Brighton 0, 10-man Sheffield United 1.
Well, coming into the game, we were talking about the weird character. Well, you know, you've got to look at Sheffield United. They've gone down to 10 men. They're putting their bodies in the way. The defensive attitude today has been absolutely sublime. And then picking and choosing the right times to get people forward. Have they been able to do that? Well, it looks like they have, and this is a degree of fortune here. It's a deflection that takes it away from Sanchez, but they've got people forward at the right times. Very intelligent.
Well, well, well. Would you credit it? Jayden Bogle on his left foot from the angle, and it took a big deflection off the
Webster, I think
Brighton
it was.
defender Webster before looping over Sanchez. I'm sure Bogle will be credited with the goal. It will be his first for Sheffield United, and the 10 men lead at the Amex by 1-0 with less than half an hour to go.
Let's give credit as well to Chris Wilder here, Joe, because he's made big substitutions at big moments in the game, and he's got the benefit of one of them there.
Brighton straight on the attack at the other end in response. Bissouma lofting it high, too long, out of play. And let's get the team news from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Ian Abrahams.
Spurs have Reguilon and Dembele back for Davis and Bergwijn. Lloris in goal. Ore Dyer, Alderweireld and Reguilon across the back. Højbjerg, Sissoko and Dembele, Lo Celso, Son and Kane. For Leicester, Castagna, Evans and all. Brighton replace Fuchs, Mendy and Under, who all dropped to the bench. So Schmeichel's in goal. Justin Fofana, Evans and Castagna across the back. And Didi and Tielemans. And then a three of all. Brighton, Maddison and Barnes behind Jamie Vardy.
And Moose, thank you very much. And Spurs against Leicester, a 2:15 kick-off in the Premier League. You haven't missed anything here. Brighton 0, 10-man Sheffield United 1. Jayden Bogle's deflected effort beyond the goalkeeper. And could Sheffield United be heading for their first win since July? Their first win of the season. Brighton are going to bring on Danny Welbeck very shortly. A lot of work for Graham Potter's side to do. All huff and puff really so far from Brighton. And Sheffield United have carved out that chance they wanted on the counter, and now they've got something to hang on to. Here's Webster for Brighton, middle of the opposition half, swings it wide to the near side and March, corner of the 18-yard box. Sheffield United have got everybody back behind the ball, a wall of pink in front of Webster, onto his left foot, smacks it goalwards, good save by Ramsdale to tip it over the top.
That was a good strike, wasn't it, for Webster? Left foot, just steers it onto his left foot. They've tried to play through, and there's no space to play through at the moment. He strikes this well. I don't know if it's going in, but certainly it would have hit the bar at the very least, and Ramsdale gets a good touch on it.
Here's that Brighton change. Neil Maupay goes off, and on comes Danny Welbeck, who has only scored once, the former Arsenal man, since joining after his release by Watford in October. My, how Brighton need a goal here. Remember these struggles that they've had at home so far this season, throughout much of 2020. Corner in front of the North Stand. Home supporters on their feet. In by Trossard, up towards Welbeck. Header away by Basham, and Ramsdale will pluck it out of the air. And the Brighton goalkeeper, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, pounces on the ball. What did we say, Albin Martin? We're midway through the second half, 1-0 Sheffield United. We said at half-time off air, didn't we, that they might get a chance in the game, the Blades. Well, they've taken it, and against a team that is lacking confidence in front of goal, particularly at home, Chris Wilder will be he'll be clock watching, won't he? He'll be thinking, we've really got a chance here.
Well, it's a long way to go, but whatever happens here, Chris Wilder's team have given him everything. You know, you'll know that this manager has got a bunch of players that are playing for him, no doubt about that, Joe. And credit to him, he's made big substitutions at crucial moments in the game, and the character that we were expected to see from him has been there, and it's been evident all the way through. Even with the setback of going down, they've asked a lot of questions at Brighton, and Brighton, we said that would probably have more chances, which they have, but it's about making the most of what you've got, and that's what Sheffield United have done up to this point anyway.
Here is White for Brighton, 10 yards from the edge of the penalty area, wide to Leandro Trossard, couple of step-overs onto his left foot, pings the ball cross-field, up to March, opposite corner of the penalty area, digs out a delivery, headed away by Baldock, comes back towards Bissouma. Again, the pattern of play, Brighton will have all of the possession, they're camped deep inside the Sheffield United half, but have they got the creativity to break down the 10 men? March has played it back to Bissouma, edge of the D, left-footed effort, takes a deflection, and this time it falls well again for Sheffield United and trickles through to Aaron Ramsdale as we welcome our listeners on Talk Sport, live here on Talk Sport 2. We're midway through the second half. It's Brighton 0, 10-man Sheffield United 1, and the 10 men who have taken the lead through Jayden Bogle on his Premier League debut, deflected effort over the top of Robert Sanchez, might just be heading for their first victory in any competition since July. They do have a lot of work to do though, Alvin Martin.
Yeah, well, this could be the biggest I think performance, the biggest result of his career, Chris Wilder, if they see it through. Still a long way to go, but they're sending off in the first half. I think I had to agree with the referee. They've come out and dominated the second half, Brighton, throughout. Got into really good areas, but I think a combination of poor finishing, poor delivery, and some great defending by Sheffield United has kept it, goalless from their Brighton's point of view. But the one chance they did get, they made the most of. And again, credit to Chris Wilder. He's made big substitutions, and one of them has actually ended up getting the goal for him. So it's up to this point a really positive afternoon for Chris Wilder and Sheffield United.
Absolutely, seeking his 100th win as Sheffield United manager. Live on Talk Sport 2, which you can listen to via smart speaker, online, via your DAB radio, or via the Talk Sport app. Just swipe left for us here on Talk Sport 2. We've got just over 20 minutes plus stoppage time to go. It is Brighton 0, 10-man Sheffield United 1. And Sheffield United here are ready to make their third substitution of the game. Ben Osborne, the former Nottingham Forest player, a tough tackling, tenacious midfielder with an eye for goal and a good left foot, is going to take to the field. And David McGoldrick is the man to come off. And the message, if it were not obvious before, from Sheffield United is that they are here to shut up shop. And David McGoldrick is being urged by the referee, shall we say, to leave the field a little quicker than he's doing. He's just got a yellow card. And that is last action. And Osborne is the man to come on. The latest odds, by the way, with 888 Sport, a Brighton win 4-1, the draw at 8-5, and Sheffield United 11-10. They lead by a goal to nil. Those are the latest odds with 888 Sport. 18 plus, please gamble responsibly. Sheffield United on the attack. Cross comes in from the left-hand side by Osborne, steered away by Solly March. Sheffield United have a throw, Alvin, right by the corner flag.
They've played really intelligently. Look, they've given everything, Sheffield United. But from the second half, they had to set the stage up. They had to be intelligent. Pick and choose the times to attack Brighton because you've got a man less and you can't take too many chances. And they've done it perfectly, Joe. They've defended stoutly, but whenever they've got the ball forward up to Beck, who I think has been brilliant since he came on, he's run down the channels, he's held balls up, and knowing that there wasn't going to be that much for him to feed on in terms of service, he's made the best of what he's had. And Sheffield United have been, like I say, really intelligent in their approach.
Corner to Sheffield United again on the far side, hoisted deep towards the far post, taken easily by Sanchez, the Brighton goalkeeper, inside his 6-yard box. Brighton are going to make a change very shortly themselves. It's a gamble of sorts because Andy Zakiri, a Swiss striker, is yet to make his Brighton debut, and Swiss under-21 international, and Brighton can hardly have many more attacking players on the field because it's Ben White who's going to come off. And Zakiri straight into the action, and not just his Brighton debut, his Premier League debut, can he perhaps do what Jayden Bogle did on his Premier League debut for Sheffield United at the other end?
The last throw of the dice. Is it going to be enough for Brighton and Potter?
Here is Zakiri, wide on the near side. First touch, left-footed delivery was good. Headed away by Egan at the heart of the Sheffield United defence. He's been a tower of strength so far, the captain. And Sheffield United are really going to need him in the last, 19 minutes plus stoppage time. Brighton 0. And 10 men of Sheffield United 1. Floated forward by Bissouma, just behind Zakiri. Had to retreat towards the near side to retrieve it. Wearing number 29. Again, the cross comes in. It's deflected onto the roof of the net. And Brighton have their 9th corner of the game so far as they seek an equaliser.
This is where it's really important for Egan to communicate throughout that team. You know, you've worked so hard to get to this stage. 72 minutes gone. 1-0 up. Everybody concentrate from these set pieces.
Leandro Trossard will take it. Plenty forward for Brighton. Sheffield United have brought every single player back. Trossard high towards the far post. Webster's looping header. Goalkeeper had stayed at home, but he's not troubled Ramsdale. It's landed on the roof of the net, and Sheffield United have a goal kick, and they will just while away another few seconds in front of these 2,000 frustrated Brighton supporters.
Big part of the game today for Sheffield United was, could they actually defend the set pieces from Brighton? Because, you know, they're formidable figures, aren't they? You know, Duncan Webster, 6'3", 6'4". They've got that delivery from Solly March, which is usually a very high standard, and it has been all day. But they've dealt with it. They haven't given them a free header anywhere.
TalkSport 2. And Joe Shannon and the former England defender Alvin Martin, your commentary team. Ramsdale taking his time with this goal kick, which he balloons high and downfield. The clearing header is from Zakiri for Brighton and Hove Albion, and now Dunk will let it trickle through to his goalkeeper Sanchez. Brighton have less than 17 minutes left to get an equaliser. Brighton who've won just one Premier League game at home in 2020, and that was 6 months ago today here against Arsenal. Feels a long time ago now. Bissouma, centre circle, whipping it wide crossfield to Solly March. He's now playing on the right side, cuts in field onto his favoured left foot, whips the ball right to left towards Zakiri in the blue and white, goes for goal, blocked by Bogle, the Sheffield United goal scorer on his Premier League debut, scoring the goal that he would have dreamed about last night. Here is Webster, long sleeve shirt for Brighton. The home fans have stayed with their team, but the efforts feel increasingly desperate now. So many forward players on the field, and Zakiri can't control that angled ball down the left side channel by Dunk, and it's gone out for a Sheffield United throw. And Sheffield United are certainly doing everything they can to eke away time here. Long way still to go. You have to say, Alvin, it's been a valiant effort, hasn't it? Almost whatever happens from this point.
Oh, absolutely. But, you know, again, they were good against Manchester United, Sheffield United. It's all about points, isn't it? That's the be-all and end-all, you know. And if they weren't to see this out, it would be a massive blow for Chris Wilder. You know, another blow on top of the already considerable blows that they've taken before. Also, think about Brighton. You know, the impact of a 1-0 defeat by Sheffield United at home will have an impact on their season, and they're fragile psychologically.
A win would move Sheffield United to within 6 points of safety. They'd stay bottom at Christmas, but Chris Wilder knows they're not far away potentially from that long-awaited victory. It would be his 100th in charge of the club. 15 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. Forward by Trossard, steered up into the air and away from danger by Ender Stevens. It bounces in the middle of the Sheffield United half. Burke with a cushion header straight to Trossard, who gives it back to Burke. But Trossard is not the best of players defensively, and Sheffield United now with Basham on the halfway line, nudges it infield to Bogle. Bogle's turned away from one, he's threaded it down the line, the near side touchline for Burke. Only Osborne is in the middle. Burke and Osborne, the two former Nottingham Forest players. Burke has nudged it infield to Bogle, edge of the penalty area, and then Bullock is flagged offside, and Brighton have themselves a free kick.
Two of the substitutions for Sheffield United, Bogle and Burke, have been brilliant since they come on, really have. You know, Bogle got the goal, a little bit of help from a deflection, and Burke has been brilliant. He's covered so much ground and worked so hard.
And the 10 men of Sheffield United still lead by a goal to nil. Murky grey clouds up ahead, the floodlights on, empty blue seats, save for the 2,000 home supporters who have been allowed in. Dunk to the edge of the D, plays it square to Trossard for Brighton. Trossard all left foot, bright green boots. Dunk has steered it wide to Zakiri, all in space near side the left, balloons the cross high to the far post. Trossard, Jahanbash rather, plucks it out of the air. He's steered it square for March. March with the delivery, headed away by Egan. Sheffield United defending very deep and very narrow. Dunk has picked it up in the middle of the Blades half once again. What have Brighton got? Can they break them down? Jahanbash crosses, takes a deflection. It's another Brighton corner. They're into double figures now, but they still haven't got themselves on the score sheet. They still haven't got that equaliser.
Yeah, Brighton are moving the ball quickly. They're changing the play. They're playing a lot of fast, intense football, but they're not able to open up at the moment.
13 minutes to go. March goes for goal, and it's deflected, and it's gone behind again. Another corner for Brighton, and a heart-in-mouth moment for Chris Wilder. He takes a swig of the water bottle out, but he looks towards Alan Neil, his assistant, who's sighing as well. That's the stress and strains of Premier League management right there.
His heart would have been in his mouth then. Solly March on his left foot in that area is dangerous.
Trossard will take this latest corner. Right-footed, out-swinging. Webster climbs straight into the chest of the goalkeeper. 1-0 Sheffield United.
They just about put him under enough pressure to make him not be able to direct that into a corner. If they don't put enough pressure on him there, Sheffield United, a centre-half, you would expect to dispatch that into the top corner, but they just put enough effort in to nudge him.
And Sheffield United's next game at home to Everton on Boxing Day is live on TalkSport 2. All as part of our Boxing Day game day coverage, a bumper Boxing Day for you. Here is March crossing the halfway line. Out on the right-hand side, we have less than 12 minutes of normal time left in the game here. This lunchtime kick-off at the Amex. Brighton are being beaten. March, wearing number 20. Back to Trossard again, middle of the Sheffield United half. 2 banks of 4, all in pink in front of them, and then a lone striker in Oliver Burke. I say a lone striker, playing as a defensive midfielder almost now, as Dunk has knocked it, whipped it from left to right towards Trossard again. Led with the edge of the penalty area, but no great pace about this attack from Brighton. March, can he carve out a cross? Cuts onto his favoured left foot, all left foot on the far side. Back it goes to Jahanbash. Jahanbash drives towards the dead ball line, blocked off by Robinson, and Sheffield United are going to have to summon up all their concentration and willpower and belief here, because these Brighton streams of attack are pretty relentless.
It's got to be a long 12-15 minute show for Chris Wilder. He's just pointed up at the board, the big scoreboard with the time on it. He said, "Is that moving?"
Doesn't feel like it's him, I'm sure. Here's the ball in the penalty area for Lallana. Welbeck trying to spin and turn. It's come back to Trossard, smuggled away by Ender Stevens. Brighton throw right by the corner flag on the far side, between the two stands really, where the North stand meets the East, and the Brighton fans clapping their hands together, trying to encourage their team as they seek a goal that would make it 1-1 on TalkSport 2. Here's Bissouma, 10 to go. Clearance by Basham, whose shirt was smartly tucked in at the start of the half. It's hanging untucked now, and such have been the nature of his strenuous efforts. And Webster for Brighton has to go back to his goalkeeper. There is still time for the home team, but if they're not careful, it will start to rapidly run out. How appropriate. Seagulls flying high above the Amex Stadium, with Webster in possession. Live for the centre circle, on to Dunk. Attack v defence is the name of the game. Dunk has pushed it up towards Jahanbash. The layoff isn't good. Forces Dunk back to the halfway line. What have they got to do here, Alvin Martin? How do they break this Sheffield United team down?
Well, they're getting frustrated at the moment, but I think somebody's got to take responsibility on it. You've got to take it in front of you, or play a ball that's going to cut somebody up.
Here's Zakiri, near side the left. Can he drag it across? He's got Bogle for company. Good defending by Bogle, who is normally a right back. He certainly was in his days at Derby, and he's held up Zakiri to great effect. Now, he did have a hold of his shirt, but no free kick given by the referee. It's out of play, and it's Sheffield United throw.
So hard, Bogle there again, against the wide player. He's just... They're helping each other. They're a together team. They don't look like a team. They're bereft of confidence or aren't working hard for each other. There's a real honesty today about Sheffield United.
Brighton 0, Sheffield United 1. The 10 men of Sheffield United on TalkSport 2 with WeBuyAnyCar.com. Get a quote in 60 seconds at WeBuyAnyCar.com. What a disciplined defensive rearguard this is going to have to be for Sheffield United. We're in the 82nd minute now. Those clouds above are getting darker and Brighton are coming forward. Trossard steers it to the right and march. They're playing with 5 in attack here, Brighton.
It's so congested though, Joe. There's a limited space. That's why, you need Lallana, somebody have that sort of technique to be able to exploit it.
Jahan Bash, far side the right, swings in the cross! Oh my goodness me! What a miss from Aaron Connolly! Goalkeeper completely missed it, and Connolly, he must have been less than 3 yards out, and somehow he's headed it over the top.
Well, for the life of me, I don't know how he's missed that. The only thing I can say is that maybe Ramsdale's come, flapped at it, and he thinks Ramsdale's going to get a touch on it, but that should be the equaliser. It's hit him on the top of the head.
Ramsdale has gone down and has stayed down. How have Brighton not got themselves level?
Well, Graham Potter must be looking at that thinking, this just might not be our day, because you don't see... I think that's the first time I've seen a delivery of absolute perfection today. They've had lots of times when they've had a chance to put a ball in, but that's the first one where you think, there's intent. He's actually picked somebody out there. He hasn't just put it in and hoped somebody was going to get on the end of it. He's actually picked somebody out. Unfortunately, the man he picked out, Connolly, really didn't finish it off.
Chris Wilder must be thinking the reverse. Maybe he thinks, finally, my luck might be in. And Aaron Connolly, who has not scored since September and not scored in his last 14 Premier League home games, sees his barren run in front of goal continue. It had to be 1-1, but it wasn't. And Sheffield United, the 10 men, still lead by a goal to 0, and there are 6.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Sheffield United made the worst start of any team to a top-flight season in history at this point in the campaign, but they are in front. And here's Osborne on the edge of the penalty area, sets up Burke. Can he make it too? Oh, he's knocked it over the top, on the run and on the angle. He should have kept it down. At the very least hit the target, Alvin.
Absolutely. Have we seen a game here that's only got 1 goal in it? There's been lots of challenges. He should score there. He's done everything that's been asked of him, but really, a centre forward on his right foot from 8 yards, 9 yards, at least hit the target. That should be a goal. That could have actually made the last 7 or 8 minutes of Chris Wilder's afternoon a lot more comfortable.
6 to go on TalkSport 2. Brighton 0. The 10 men of Sheffield United 1. Here is Trossard for Brighton, 35 yards out, sprays the pass wide to March on the far side, rolls it down the line towards Jahan Bash. Sliding in is Osborne in that congested and crowded 18-yard box. There's barely an inch of space, an inch of green grass for Brighton to try and work with. They have forced their 13th corner of the game.
Chris Wilder's just walked back to the bench. I can lip read, we've got to score that. He said, we've got to score that. And you've got to defend this, Chris.
March in swinging delivery to the near post. Sakiri got up and his looping header again is over the bar, and it's a goal kick to Sheffield United. Chris Wilder fiddles with his watch and puffs out his cheeks, a big deep breath. He reaches for the water bottle. He was born in Stocksbridge. He's a boyhood Sheffield United fan, and nobody feels it more than him. Nobody hurts more than him when it goes wrong, and nobody will feel more relief than if Sheffield United can get over the line here, but they're not there yet.
He was chuffed, wasn't he? He got a best wishes card from his hero Jeff Boycott this week. You can imagine. I wonder if he put a lucky charm in there, Jeff Boycott, as well, because they have broke the luck at times.
Well, they lead by a goal to 0. Remember, they've been down to 10 men, Sheffield United, since the latter portion of the first half. It's been an heroic effort, but Brighton are not done here. Still more than 4 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Yellow card for Osborne. Free kick for Brighton midway into opposition territory. Brighton have not looked... the number of crosses floated in, it's a little bit like Arsenal in recent weeks, to very little effect.
Well, you've got to criticise their lack of technique, know-how, Brighton, but you've also got to admire Sheffield United's approach. Defensively, they've been brilliant.
Trossard flicks in a good cross up towards Webster. Welbeck! Danny Welbeck with the equaliser for Brighton, and heartbreak for Sheffield United. with just 4 minutes to go. Chris Wilder can't believe it, but Danny Welbeck has come off the bench to equalise from close range for Brighton, and the 10 men are broken here. Brighton 1, Sheffield United 1.
Well, credit to Brighton, but my heart goes out to Sheffield United. You know what it means to them, but it's a fight ball really that's played in, and they get a little lucky that it lands perfectly for Welbeck. He has one touch on his chest and then dispatches it on the volley from close range. No chance whatsoever for Ramsdale, but I'm sure Chris Wilder will be looking back to the chance that Burke had 3 minutes ago.
Danny Welbeck with just his second goal for Brighton. The last time Danny Welbeck scored in a Premier League match, they went on to win it 2-1. Can they do it again here? Forward by Lallana, 1-1 against the 10 men of Sheffield United, who you really have to feel for. But such is life in the Premier League, such is the ruthlessness of the top flight. It doesn't hang on for what-ifs or could-haves or should-haves or would-haves. It's all about getting goals, it's all about picking up points. And here is Trossard racing through the middle. The referee's pulled it back for a free kick. Why? Why?
I'm surprised he didn't let that go on. But I don't know another game like football that gives you all of these different scenarios and heartbreak and elation and twos and fros. Football lends itself to that. It's an unbelievable game.
Talk Sport 2, 2 minutes to go. The swing of emotions is just unbelievable. Jahanbash trying to swing it across. The initial free kick was taken short. He was blocked off by Burke. Burke has backheeled it and has given it away to March. Chris Wilder now crouched on his haunches. March has floated it forward. Connolly will try to peel away. Free kick given to Sheffield United. And Graham Potter with his assistant Billy Reid right in front of us in the commentary position, watching both coaches. I mean, it's something that I do quite a lot, Albert. I love watching the managers on the touchline and just seeing the strain, both physical and emotional, that you can see it's etched on their faces. It just gives you a sense of how much this matters at this level.
I'm surprised really by how calm both managers have been. They've been respectful to each other. You can see there's a real connection with their players. But I think they're both good guys, I think.
1-1 on Talk Sport 2. Can Brighton win the game late on here? Aaron Connolly, corner of the penalty area, plays it back to Trossard, 30 yards out, goes for goal, and he's dragged it wide. It was certainly within shooting range for Leandro Trossard, who might feel he should have done better. And
Solly March is there letting him know that he thinks he should have played that to him, but you've got to take that on from there. 20 yards, people backing off him, he's got to take the shot on. I think that's what he said to Solly March.
Both managers, if it does stay like this, will look back on chances missed. The Connolly open goal for Brighton, and now Aaron Ramsdale's going to get a yellow card for time wasting. And Sheffield United, they will look to that chance for Oliver Burke at 1-0 up just before the equaliser.
Well, he could have made himself a hero, couldn't he? He's done brilliant since he came on, Burke, but that was the moment when he could have actually scored a goal, a massive goal in Sheffield United's history. Because I'm sure if they win this game today, they go on, and maybe they follow it up with a run. But it's still a good point, an excellent point. Take nothing away from the credit that they should get Sheffield United, because to come into this game with only 1 point, all season. And perform to this level is excellent.
4 minutes of added time on Talk Sport 2 as the sun emerges from behind the clouds, and there are bright blue skies overhead now. It's 1-1. Brighton and the 10 men of Sheffield United. Free kick to Sheffield United, 5 yards from the corner flag.
Who knows? Joe, just one delivery, get your head on this ball. If that was a Sheffield United player now, I'd be saying to the fella, put it there and I'll get my head on it. Can't guarantee I'll score, but I'll get my head on it.
Burke and Robinson and Egan and Basham and Bogle all forward for Sheffield United in that pink away strip. Whipped in by Osborne, headed away by Danny Welbeck, the Brighton goal scorer. 1-1 on Talk Sport 2 in stoppage time. Egan nudges it towards the right-hand edge of the 18-yard box. Basham with his back to goal, faced up by two in blue. Finds Ampadu. Ampadu, the Chelsea loanee, in a crossing position. That's a decent delivery. It's a poor header clear initially, but Danny Welbeck will reach it for Brighton and charge towards the left-back spot, and he'll give it away. Bogle has it back for Sheffield United. Into the area he goes. Good covering by Adam Lallana. You can feel the tension here at the Amex down on the south coast. The game is not done yet, and Basham has won Sheffield United another free kick in a very dangerous position.
Clever play. Basham, he knew that Welbeck was desperate to win the ball back on the edge of his own penalty area. He bought the foul, and it was a definite foul. Now, come on, what you're saying, Chris Wilder, put that in the area. One good delivery could turn 1 point into 3 here.
And it could turn a season. And plenty forward for Sheffield United inside the 18-yard box once again. Ben Osborne is over the ball for the Blades. Near side the right, in swinging delivery. Well taken by Sanchez, who's dropped it inside the penalty area. Brighton, though, do get themselves a free kick. We had just over 2 of the 4 added minutes on TalkSport 2. Brighton won, 10-man Sheffield United won. The roar is from the home supporters. The home team are on the attack in blue. Here is Conley, left wing position. He's held up and then he's chopped down by Basham, who will certainly be yellow carded, and Brighton now have themselves a free kick and a potential chance to win the game.
Well, one thing
what a second half, Alvin.
Joe, we've seen a good game of football. There's only been a couple of goals in it, but it's been fast, it's been frenetic, there's been stories within it. You know, it's been an excellent watch.
And it's Trossard and March who are over the ball. It's never over until it's over in the Premier League. March will whip it in high. Webster's at the far post. It's over his head. And Bogle will keep it in. Is there one last chance on the counter maybe for Sheffield United with 50 seconds left? Bogle pumps the ball high downfield. Burke has brought it down beautifully. What a piece of control into the penalty area. Angle very tight. Went down. Nothing given. Goal kick to Brighton.
He had 3 defenders around him there, Vic. He took that on the half volley.
Caution to the wind, you bet! 1-1, 30 seconds to go. Trossard is over the halfway line. He's got plenty forward in blue in support. And Trossard, middle of his own half, layoff just about reaches Webster. This is it now, 20 seconds left. Conley looks up, plays it square to Bissouma. Bissouma wide to Jahanbash. Now then, has he got the delivery? Has he got the quality? Set up Lallana. Lallana's cross up towards Welbeck, off the line and off the post, and it's scrambled clear by Baldock. Absolutely extraordinary. How on earth has that not ended up in the back of the net? It's a corner to Brighton.
Do you know that lucky charm I said that Jeff Boycott put in the cards? I think there was definitely one in there, because how that has not gone in, I do not know. You've got to see this. Anyone listening, you've got to see this. If you get near a screen, a phone, watch it, because it is unbelievable.
1-1. Breathless. Still time to take the corner. Trossard will take it. Lofts it high. Dunk heads it down. Away by Baldock. Back in by Dunk. And it's a crowded penalty area. Jahanbash with the effort, which is blocked. And the referee blows the full-time whistle. And Chris Wilder shakes hands with Graham Potter. I bet he doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Just a second point of the season for Sheffield United. Still no home victory for Brighton and Hove Albion. And players of both sides, having given their absolute all, are crouching down. One or two have thrown themselves to the floor. An extraordinary second half. The 10 men of Sheffield United, led for so long. Jayden Bogle on his Premier League debut with a deflected effort into the net just after the hour mark. They had dreams of a first win since July.